it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If 9 times out of 10 it happens, most people are going to be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to wait to get in CLOV till it falls to 818 because that's where the gap's at. But with this type of volume and the momentum we're seeing, if all of a sudden we reverse the trend and get a break above VWAP and start seeing some bullish signals, RSI above 50, everything else, you're going to see all that FOMO come pouring in. And this will be the one time the gap doesn't get filled, you know? So it all depends how the chart plays out, right? I mean, that's more like traders who are looking for swing trade opportunities, are gonna be looking for that gap fill more than likely before they jump in, unless we prove to them that the gap fill isn't coming. 20 million pre-market, 60 million now. What does this tell us? How much more short volume can they have? It's been months of shorting. Yeah, I mean, anyone who's been shorting recently is got to be, getting nervous right now. I mean, people that were shorting this stock, entering into short positions at 8, trying to drive us down like they have been over the last 3 weeks. We kept holding that $8 level. There's a lot of people that probably started shorting the stock somewhere around 9-ish. The recent short volume we've been seeing, all those short positions just entered in around the $9 range, right? And so they got in this morning. They were underwater this morning, but they might not be anymore. So we need to get this stock trended in the right direction. 885 support, 850 support, $8 support is what let's see here. Thomas is saying, yeah, we got a ton of support going right now. Let me see. Let me pull this over. Just looking at, I'm trying to keep up on the options chain to see if we're getting any more bullish momentum, or if things are moving in the other direction. But it looks like, oh, that was a pretty big order right there. So I don't know if we saw that one earlier, but there's the $9 strike for next week. 6,000 volume, 6.7 thousand volume. That's a pretty decent size order. Looks like the most recent order that came in here is, yeah, that one. So we're really starting to get a lot of volume pouring in. Like I pointed out earlier, this algorithm that TRADYTICS just updated with came out, and it's trading higher. Usually that'll pull the stock with it, from what I've been noticing. That means that the options momentum that's coming into the stock is more bullish. And you know what? Let me check that dark pool flow on this too, and just see where we're at there. Baby Yoda holding a clover. Is that what N Freaks? I never really noticed that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's see. I'm gonna check this dark pool data real quick on TRADYTICS and see if we can see anything on there for what's happening today. So it does look like today we're seeing some dark pool buys. This is today, so here's the gap up. Right now we're trading down here, but we do have dark pool buys at 910 and 980, and so if these are the kind of the highest dark pool trade levels, this is where we would likely see some support or resistance levels. But we can also, this is where the flow is going, right? So right now we're trading below that dark pool flow. So we would want to see, eventually we could see the stock start moving that way. Daily sentiment's bullish. We're still seeing this is today, so those are those two lines. Yesterday was dark pool lines were 810, 807, 806. So and then we had a block trade at 9. Pablo says shorts are really digging their own graves today. What's up, Pablo? Hey, I mean, I know this was an unexpected stream, but Pablo, if you want to jump on, you got the link. You can always come in and join in with me if you feel like shooting the shit for a little bit. Pa, won't they just switch sides, or they can't because they can't cover? Well, so like I said, I mean, we saw Saskatchewan switch sides today, or I guess yesterday, right? Like, I know I pointed that out a couple times, but we got some new people on the stream. But let me refresh this Fintel data too. Um, but yeah, I mean, they can absolutely change sides. Like if you look at yesterday, um, you know, Saskatchewan was one of the bigger short positions that we saw. And yesterday, I don't know what time this filing came in, but this is a long position now. This is 2.9 million shares long, 6.4 million in calls compared to 4.78 in puts. And I'm going to go ahead and open up a separate window, and maybe I'll try to put these up side by side just so we can see the difference. But you know, prior to yesterday, Saskatchewan was listed down here as one of the older short positions in this stock. Um, and now they've definitely flipped long. Trying to look for any other ones that maybe we could have seen that with. I don't see James Street and Citadel reporting anything new. IMC Chicago, I mean, yeah, that's a put position that they have, but IMC actually has a bigger long position that they just established recently too. So IMC right here, 1.5 million in calls, 109,000 shares compared to just 1 million in puts. So, yeah, they absolutely could flip. They could flip their position. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to, you know, they just gotta grab calls and go the other way with it, right? Uh, okay, Fluffer saying, let's see some Ortex data. Let me see here. Let me see what I can pull up. All right, so Ortex right now, same. Doesn't look like we have a big difference. Ortex is only showing 2.56. But like I know today I've showed Ortex like 5 times, and I've been saying over the last couple of days, like I stopped looking at Ortex data because we've seen that the data that it's unreliable, right? Um, even on those days where we ended up seeing there was 19 million in FTDs, Ortex was reporting that shares were getting returned. So um, it's Ortex, and I'm not blaming Ortex, but I mean they're going off data that they're given, right? So people are giving Ortex this data. It's all coming to them in like in Excel files or whatever it is, CSVs. It's just data that's getting sent to them, and it's just automatically updating on their website. And all this data is coming from the different brokers that are lending out shares, and a lot of this stuff is all self-reported. So it's really hard to say. I mean, and then there's naked shorting, which you're never going to see that come out in any of the reports. But yeah, Ortex is showing only 2.5 million shares getting borrowed, which, I mean, don't get me wrong. This could be, this and probably is people selling and taking profits that maybe bought in this for a swing trade. But I would also imagine this is a lot of short sellers, maybe even naked short sellers trying to see if they could press this price down to 8. Right? They want to hit this hard and then see us sell so that they can drop us back down to that max pain level of 8. And really, at this point, we need to get back above 9. I'd imagine we're going to see a lot of resistance there, but that's where we need to get to, to really get this gamma squeeze potential kicking off. Tibbs is saying they're just digging deep. We could just hold, absolutely. Don't know if I should hold on to my $9 August 20th calls. Yeah, I feel you on that. Like if you look at I mean, on one hand, there's a lot of time left, right? So like and I'm kind of in a similar situation. Like I've got some August 20th $11 calls. I also have some August 20th let me see here. 159. I got some $10 calls too on my Webull account. So I have a couple different call contracts that I just have been accumulating, but it's like at this point, at 860. I don't know if I want to dump those calls yet because we're right there in that striking distance. I guess it comes down to each person and how much you have and what your cost basis is and everything else. For me, I'd really like to see today play out and tomorrow play out before I start cutting my out of the money you know calls expiring next week. But if we don't see the momentum getting back to what it was like yesterday at the end of the day and a reversal here at some point, yeah, I mean, you're going to get way more money out of it cutting it now than you would next Tuesday, right? Max says, anyone else going to watch Clover Health's presentation at KeyBank's Virtual Technology Leadership Forum? Yes. So Tarheel was on here a little while ago, and I think he's going to stream it. So I think he's going to start his stream here in about 3 hours or so, 4 hours. I think we're just going to transition it over. I don't have the stamina that guy does. So at some point I'll be signing off and he'll be signing on. We'll just swap it over to his channel, and then I think he's gonna stream like the kind of the second half of the day type of deal. I mean, I wasn't even expecting. Normally this is still my stream time. Like normally I'm still going till like 8 a.m. But yeah, I'm probably gonna take the day off and just hang out, watch the stock, take care of some other stuff, and see how this goes. But yeah, we'll be watching today later on. I'll definitely be tuning into Tarheel's channel to check that out. Does this recent high volume and dip in price indicate a better position for a short squeeze? Yeah, I mean, so like no one really knows, how high a stock can go in a short squeeze or anything like that. But my inclination, what I kind of think is it's all about wherever you short squeeze from, right? So if shorts all started covering all at once and the quote unquote short squeeze took off from $6, I'd imagine we wouldn't go as high as if we took off from $10 or 15, or if we were to gamma squeeze up to 43 and then have our short squeeze happen from there, then I would imagine we go even higher. So yeah, I I would imagine, high volume, all that is gonna probably, but right now we're still trading below 9. I'd like to see us get at 10, 11, 12, and really get that gamma squeeze ripping too. John says, what is the Clove's floor price? I think the new floor is 8. I mean, I drew this line in probably about a week ago, this $8 line, and we've been touching it, but we've been holding this $8 as a nice support level. So that's definitely the floor, in my opinion. Um, let's see. Crypto Cello. It's not green. Don't think it's a new position. Red or close. Red for closed positions and green for new positions. Oh, you talking about that Saskatchewan? But they reported it. It got reported yesterday. That was a filing from yesterday. Their previous position, I think, was just puts that I recall seeing. I don't remember seeing that many calls. I mean, you probably have to dig in and see exactly, what the change in ownership was, but it says, let's see here. Yeah, it looks here like, so when we look at Saskatchewan, their puts, um, percentage change 279%, 260, 35%. Let's see here. I thought there used to be a previous shares too. Maybe that was on a different one. Shares changed. Yeah, I'll have to look into it a little bit more. There was one that was like previous shares, and that way you could see what they're at now and what they previously were at. That might be on a different page, but um, this says value change percentage 548%, 569, and then 138%. So we'll have to. I'll look into that a little bit later once I jump off the stream. Um, let's see here. Sorry, I'm getting some other messages. Um, all right. We just need to see this reversal here. At some point, we're gonna hit the bottom. Looks like they got us down to 860 a little while ago, but we are seeing that buying pressure pulling us back up. Um, Tom, do we think the downward pressure today is largely traders taking profit or the hedgies shorting? I think it's a combination of both. I really do. Pablo said he's got some work to do. All right, Pablo, all good. Um, who would take profit? So I mean, you have day traders, you have people who, maybe bought in here, seeing that 8 was the floor, got this nice ride up to 10, 13, started selling here. Some people probably started jumping on this morning when they saw the spike in pre-market to 935. Maybe bought the cross of VWAP earlier, wrote it up. I mean, there could be a lot of people that are just in for the day trade or the swing trade that are absolutely, that don't know about CLOV, don't know about the fundamentals of this, don't know when you know how high this stock can go without a gamma squeeze or a short squeeze. So I think that all plays into it as well. SRT, at Pablo, you're pissing SRT off right now. Co-creator says, when they short like this is when we all know it should be going up. They're only making the final squeeze even sweeter. They aren't scaring anyone into selling. They're just making me want to buy more. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you anymore, man. You're dropping knowledge again. That really they just anyone who wanted to get in up here at 10, and I know some people were even anyone who was trying to get in at 10 and saying, oh, let me see if there's a morning dip. Well, we just gave them a morning dip, and we might see some people buying in. And that's where I was saying, too, that you might even see, people waiting on this gap fill. But at some point, if we prove that there won't be a gap fill, that'll go away as well. All right, here. Let me try to catch up again. This looks like June 4th. We get pegged to 9 this week and fly next week. All good here. Yeah. And that's the other reason why I'm kind of like, damn, do I want to get rid of my 820 calls? I mean, I guess I could always roll them out too. But I could absolutely see that happening. If you go back and look, we kind of finished that week off strong. And then there was the big gap up on June 7th. And then the bigger gap up on June 8th. And that's what really kicked it off. And it could be next week. But we also gapped up today too. We just need to really, it's all about getting past the key strike prices. We want to get past 9 and then we want to get past 10. There's not a ton of open interest at 950 to really make a difference. Austin says, look at the level 2 sell walls drying up. Yeah. And this isn't shit, these numbers we're seeing right now. I mean, earlier this morning, we saw something crazy like 100,000 shares or something like that. There's an 11,000 sell wall at 883, but with this type of volume, we could rip through that no problem. I mean, we're still seeing 3 million volume on these 5-minute candles. That's crazy. We're at 75 million in volume today, so we're definitely starting to pick up. One second. We got a ghost or a special guest coming in right now too. Coach, didn't you say if contract isn't looking good, you could pay a small fee and push the date? Yeah, you can kind of roll it out. Basically, all you're doing when you roll the contract is you're selling. Like, let's say you wanted to roll this week's contract, you're selling this week's contract and buying a new one. But when you roll it, you're actually your software is doing it for you, so it's going to take care of both sides of the transaction. But you could basically do it manually by just selling one, buying the other. That's all you're doing when you roll it out. Um, let's see. Yeah, and then Pablo just explained even more. You gotta pay the difference, right? So, for instance, if I was to sell, let's say I had the $10 call for this week at $18 right now, I could sell this for 18, and then I wanted to roll it out to September 3rd. Well, it's going for 73 cents. So I got to pay that difference. I got to pay the 55 cent difference to do that. But essentially all you're doing is selling one, buying the other. Um, Ecom says this is the time to buy. Shorts out of juices. Let's see, Doc Tampa's in the house. I haven't had Doc on a stream in a while. I know it's too early for him, even though he's on the East Coast. I've been up since 4, bro. Uh, but nah, I appreciate you coming in, Doc. I really do. Perry says I got banned from the CLOV Discord after saying I don't care what this goes to after seeing the earnings report because I know what I own. Huh? Yeah, I could look into that. I'll maybe shoot me your Discord name, and I'll see what's up with that. It might have even been an accident, Perry. I don't know why that would have happened if that's all you said. Um, SRT, you could change your strike price too. So not only can you roll it to a new date, you can roll it to a new strike price. So basically, but essentially, all you're doing is like selling what you have and opening a new position, but you're doing it all as one. So you're rolling it into a new one. Christian says borrow fees up. Let's look at Ortex. Are you talking about this right here? I don't think that changes throughout the day, so that would have been what we opened the day with, I think. Oh, cost to borrow right here. I'm tripping. Been a while since I started looking at this. So the average is 1.4, but some people are paying 8%. Yeah, and we can see that start to continue to rise today too, and that also puts pressure on short sellers, right? Um, let's see here. Bobby saying, "Is it too late to get in?" Man, I mean, obviously, not financial advice, but I think this is the dip. And then, I mean, if you look at from a fundamental standpoint, right? And I mean, so if you're new to this and you're just hearing, I'll give you the short elevator pitch. I think Clove is me personally should be trading at 20 to $30 without a squeeze right now. So, um, I just realized I got two. This is not financial advices on my screen. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Kind of interrupted myself, but anyways, I think that we're looking at $20 to $30 without a squeeze. Earnings were just significant. 140% increase year-over-year revenue. Doubled their lives under management. And then the big thing about this is the AI and the tech, which could be a disruptor in the industry that isn't even being talked about in regards to the revenue right now. I think you hold this stock long enough, you're looking at triple digits without a squeeze of any sort. And so that's why I'd say I've been saying I think this is the best entry point for any squeeze play because there's no other stock you can get into with this type of squeeze potential that also will ensure you won't be holding bags right now. You're getting in under $9 on a stock that should be trading at 20. You're not going to be a bag holder. Now, if you were to buy in next week, if we hit 50, yeah, you could be a short-term bag holder, but even then you could still hold the stock for a year to probably get to triple digits. That's my take. All right. We got our guest coming in right now. Let's see. All right. I'm gonna let me see. I'm gonna throw him up here right now. So uh Ghost actually came on Tuesday.
What up? What's good, coach? I'm not getting any volume from you. You can hear me?
Oh, it looks like I'm muted. There we go. You got now. You can hear me.
There you go. Yes,
Yeah. So
sir.
I think what happened was because when I had Tarheel on earlier, I muted it, so it automatically muted me when I brought in another interview. Okay. So yeah, what I was saying was Ghost came on here on Tuesday morning. And then you ended up joining Tar Heel yesterday morning. So this is your third day in a row on the YouTube streams, man.
Hey, I told y'all whenever y'all want me on, man, I'd love to be on here, man. I love your fans, man. Y'all got a whole bunch of people showing love, man. It's just dope community, man. They were so amazing, coach. I never had so much fun with this shit, man. I'll be honest with you. The
Nah,
camaraderie we all had to see what took place.
I feel you. I'm the same way. That's why like yesterday it was killing me to be at work. You know, I was trying to keep up with the stream. Tar Heel was going all day. You know, I was missing out on so much shit. And then, you know, the stock was doing good. And then the earnings came out and things started flying. And I'm sitting there in my class and I just, man, like, um, I don't know.
When I heard you say I'm calling out sick when this hits 11, I said he calling out sick. You were already programming yourself to like give you an amount. Nah, you calling out sick, man. That was too exhilarating, man. To see what they did on earnings for me, that's all I wanted. I don't know, man. When I was on both of you guys' channel, I said the same thing. I said I'm just looking for guidance. At the same token, I felt like they were going to be a little hesitant to raise it like that because of the variant, which I talked about on Tar Heels a little bit more than I talked about on yours. That the variant of Delta and knowing that this could maybe alter a few things. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't think DCE was gonna double their platform like that. I really didn't.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a great earnings call, better than expected, I think. And I mean, my big thing was like the Clover Assistant. I mean, obviously the
Billion.
year over year growth, the lives under management doubling, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, just after the news they dropped, the day you were on, remember when we were was it Tuesday?
Yep.
They dropped the news about like Clover Assistant kind of being
Yep.
like they made it so it can integrate into any basically with any healthcare provider, right? And it kind of shows you that's what they want to get into. But then
FHIR or whatever.
yeah, and then they're talking about now they're on track for 1 billion in annualized revenue. You know, with just the Clover Assistant. I mean, and that's kind of like what's going to happen once they start getting this out to other healthcare providers and everything else. I mean, I just um
I'm
yeah that
telling you, I was nervous about this portion of it because I said, we all, want a little bit more from this AI in order to really feel like, okay, we aren't just another health company, but we really are a disruptor. And as much as I have conviction and you might have conviction, and there's a lot of people out there that just don't have that conviction with that yet. So to hear a billion and they can finally like talk about it, I think the biggest thing with the I always look at the letters because it always messes me up. The FHIR. I think that's a huge, huge deal. Value H was a huge deal. Look, I'm telling you right now, I followed DraftKings so hard back in the day. Every single couple of days, every week, it seemed like they were dropping something. Gonna be at Wrigley's Field. Gonna have a ESPN exclusive announcement. UFC. I mean, they just kept going, and it was like, man, this is a hyper growth.
yeah
And yesterday proved I was looking for 20% year over year. They're so slick. The management team has programmed us to think like 20% year over year. The
yeah.
under promise and over deliver that they did, I thought I had conviction before. I mean,
Well, can you imagine if you're like one of these short sellers or even not even a necessarily a short seller, but like let's say someone who subscribes to one of these short reports and you're just like a retail shorter, and because there's a lot of people short this stock that are in retail too that are just listening to these people like Hindenburg that put out these BS reports. And so if you've been listening to Hedge Eye or one of these other places and you're thinking that like, oh, this stock's going to go to zero and all this negative bullshit that they've been putting out about it, and then Then all of a sudden that comes out yesterday. 140% year over year growth and doubling
140.
their lives under management in 1 quarter. It just, you know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, I agree with you. So not only did it catch us as investors off guard, but how do you think the short sellers feel? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's at one point this is reversing. You know when that is. Like I last night I was thinking about it and I was like, all right, we're not gonna wake up and see like 30%, 40%, nothing crazy, right? I'm like, although this could literally double up at any second, it's also there's gonna be some suppression, and I think that right now you might even be seeing dark pool purchase lit market. Let's suppress it just so that they can kind of get out a little bit, little by little. You know what I mean? I think that they have to at one point. I mean, the percentage of shares that are shorted at this point in time that at least we have access to, when you just saw 140%, there's what are you doing?
Yeah.
We already knew that they're not going to be profitable till 2023, and I said I would be disgusted if they didn't spend a heck of a lot of money trying to get this growth off to where we need it. But
Yeah.
140%, man, I thought I would expect this like after open enrollment. I kept saying like next May, when they report the first quarter of next year, that's when I was like really excited for.
Yeah,
I
you said
almost
that
felt
on
like I
Tuesday
got it.
too. You were talking about that.
Yeah, May of next year. And I was like, a lot of us would be in well over a year now at that point. You lower your tax brackets on if you do want to trim a little bit of, if you some of these individuals that went in excessively. I mean, man, at the end of the day, I mean I would have been cool with this come May of next year, 140% growth. I really would have. Since this time, now when open enrollment kicks in October, I'm amped. Now when they get to report some of these come January 1st of 2022, I'm amped. I'm
Oh yeah.
amped. I know
Can you
there's I know there's the talk about I always say his name wrong. Jitsiyu. What's his name?
Jasifu that was on Matt? You talking about Matt that was on
Yeah.
yesterday? Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, Matt. So he was kind of attaching it directly correlated now to like a Delta strain. And I don't know if it was yours or everything's starting to blend at this point, but I was talking about it. I said, I didn't think they would give us too much of a umph and guidance, to be quite honest with you, because of that variant, because of the fact that there's all of a sudden an unknown. But like I said, Coach, I'm in Cali, right?
Yeah.
We didn't get a mask mandate for like a month. 1 month, I got to take this mask off when I went out and about. 1 month, and so to sit here and like, I knew for a fact the amount of cases were lower. I'll be honest, I still wasn't really, with all of this being said on the earnings, I thought that the lack of COVID costing would actually help them a lot more than it did, and it really didn't. So
Yeah.
even with the variants and even with the delayed effect of the out-of-pocket expenses from COVID, I still believe that it could have been a lot better even. That's what's so cool about it. It could be a lot better even based upon what we're seeing now, and that's scary. I think Tibiz, man, we were talking about it the other day or yesterday. 2023 is when we were projected to be profitable. I could see them surprising us yet again, maybe end of 2028. To be quite honest with you,
Yeah.
I really can.
No,
End of
I mean,
2022, I can.
yeah, I could see that too. I mean, especially with this expansion going the way it is. I mean, so if you figure if they were able to double in 1 quarter, right? What are we going to see coming out in quarter 3 results? Even if they don't even have to double where they're at right now because now you're looking at it. But even if they had like a 50% increase, that would kind of keep up with the growth that they had this time around. And even just to continue that growth, I mean, all of that's going to end up playing into the role of profitability. And especially as we're talking about bringing in more DC plans as opposed to the MA, so shit, yeah, man. I mean,
I
it's
just seen.
exciting. And if they
I
keep,
just
like you
seen that.
said, under promising, over, you know what I mean, over
Yeah,
producing this,
under promise, over deliver. I pray
yeah,
for this. Again, DraftKings. You got Jason, their CEO, always under promising, always was over delivering. Man, I actually sent out a DD just now. based upon this comparison. I have to go over some of this, man. It's incredible. First off, I forgot about the chat again, so I just pulled it up. I just see Michael D talk about, hey, Ghost, where's your Tesla? Why is it not in the garage? Because my desk that big. It is that big, man. My desk is big. I'll open the garage a little bit so you can see. So at least I feel like you pulling my car right now. You trying to make sure I ain't bluffing. I'll open the garage so you can see. But I got to cover up the license plate. I can't let y'all know where to find Ghost. That's not Ghost if you can find me.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
I'll do it in a couple seconds, but I want to talk about this real quick, man. So we have DraftKings versus CLOV. And I posted it on our Clove for those of you that aren't on there, man. Dope ass Reddit. Obviously, you should go up there and look at this up. But I pointed out a few things. DraftKings, right? 2018, they had $226 million in revenue for the year 2018. Clove, 281 million. Very similar. You got 323 million 2019 for DraftKings. Clove, 454 million. Advantage Clove already. 2020, 614 million for DraftKings. Clove, 690 million. I mean, you're seeing the sixes, you're seeing the fours. I mean, first quarter for DraftKings this year was 312 million. 298 million in the second quarter. Mind you, second quarter, they dipped a bit. You figure Super Bowl, you figure there's reasons for it. You go to Clove, you see first quarter, 200 million. DraftKings had us. But then you pop the second quarter up, and you're talking about $412 million. This is the craziest thing. Operating income, 2018 for DraftKings, 76 mil. You had Clove, 201 mil. DraftKings got us there. Okay, fine. 2019, 142 mil for DraftKings in operating income. You got Clove, 363 mil. Okay, you guys got us there.
Just want to make sure I just pulled it up. Is this where we're at right now? Look at it right
cool.
here.
Yeah,
So
you pull it up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to make sure so people can kind of follow around too.
Yeah, so scroll down just a hair. We're on the next one right there. We're on the next one, which would be annual lost income. Right there, boom.
Okay.
So I'm on Clove right now, or I'm on DraftKings still. So 2020, $1.23 billion is what DraftKings spent. 1.23 billion with the B. Remember, I just told you their revenue for 2020 was 614 mil. They spent $1.23 billion. Now you're looking at Clove last year, only 136 million. And I did it for the smooth brains out here. I put points. I'll give you a point for this. I'll give you a point for that.
Yeah.
The bottom line is we have Clove at 6 points at this point. DraftKings at 4 points, right? And if you scroll down to guidance, and this is where the difference. DraftKings had a $900 million guidance. They were projected to make a bill for 2021. They upped it in 2021 on their first quarter, 1.05 to 1.15. Modest little up in guidance. Again, over deliver after under promising. 2021, same year, second quarter, they moved it up to 1.21 billion to 1.29 billion. And you can see just these modest little umps.
Yeah.
Clove. We can't talk about, obviously, their earnings from 2020 as far as guidance goes. Guidance that was given to us before this earnings call was 700 to 800 million. And then they come out to 1.4 billion to 1.5 billion this year after their second quarter guidance. I gave Clove 7 points. I gave DraftKings 5 points. And I just gave a point for each category we won, which is so more than fair to DraftKings. Okay? More than fair to DraftKings. Because let's face it, we murked them on a couple different areas, okay?
Yeah. Nah, absolutely.
But if you look at this, DraftKings they got a market cap, and you could scroll down towards the bottom because we'll skip the stuff in between. DraftKings has a market cap as of close yesterday, $21 billion. 21 billion. We were sitting yesterday at 3.318 billion. 3.3 billion?
Yeah.
I mean, easy math, you think 3 to 21 is 1/7. Football
Yeah.
numbers, 21 to 3 score, right?
Yeah.
I did it a little bit more precise. Take the cost per share multiplied by 6.35 because they had 6.34 something above us in market cap. I mean, we're looking at $51.63 if we were looking, if we were valued the same on Wall Street as DraftKings was. Hyper growth, revenue's very similar. Our guidance may be a little bit more than them now. And we're sitting here at, I'll be honest with you, I saw we were getting tanked earlier. $8.66 a share. That's funny to me. This is why I'm not even worried. Clearly, there's a lot of people that don't want us up right now. There's a lot of them. And in due time, they just can't. They can't hold it.
And that's like, even, you know, what I like, that's another example. Like, you know, Living It's, I'd love to see Living It come up with some new numbers too, because the old Living It numbers were based on, you know, prior to yesterday's earnings call. But he had us pegged, you know, somewhere in that $20 to $30 range. And you come out with this, and it's like, again, $51 with no squeeze. We're not talking about a gamma squeeze or a short squeeze. That's all short-term potential stuff. But, you know, this is just, you hold on to this stock. This stock right now should be trading for $50. You know, and I mean,
Let me say this. I don't have a lick of financial background in me. Everything I do is on my own, right? And I try to give myself conviction based upon what I'm seeing, right? When I was doing these numbers, I laughed because I'm not talking about a short squeeze. Like, I know a lot of people came for the short squeeze, and listen, hats off to you if you guys are looking for a big pop like that, and that's cool. I'm just talking about Wall Street. You know, market cap is not everything, right? I mean, this is just what people are intrigued enough people are intrigued to invest into DraftKings. DraftKings is a stock that literally is for gambling. Now, there's the daily fantasy sports, which they do make some money on, which I'm all for. You want to play some fantasy football with your buddies. I do it. I get it. But I'm talking about gambling. I mean, and let's face it, they're kind of hindered to specific states that open up, and, you know, they got some overseas work that they're doing, right? CLOV is for senior citizens, man. It's to help old people. Like, I understand Street is Wall Street. You look at what, and I have DraftKings. If you read this post, full disclosure, that's my top 4 holding that I have personally. Yes, CLOV being one. But anywho, we're talking about the pros and cons of what these companies stand for. We're talking about what the market should see this corporation as.
Yeah.
This market cap should be a heck of a lot higher, and it would be justifiable, is my point. A $21 billion market cap for someone that's making $1.5 billion this year is more than fathomable. DraftKings was at 75 at one point. That means their market cap was 50% higher at one point.
Yeah. Way higher than what it's at right now. 35? I think it's going back there at some point too. I don't know about you, but I think DraftKings is getting ready to run back up to like 70, 80. But
for sure, I got calls and I got stocks on DraftKings, man. I'll be honest with you. I think so too, to be quite honest with you. You know, it's a no-brainer when you look at CLOV, man. I swear to you, man. But Coach, I was so impressed on what I saw, and I don't know why. This management, we talked about it, man. I don't know why I was that shocked.
Well, you know, you kind of, you know, you hit on something too, like, you know, who would be shorting this stock and all this kind of stuff. Like, you know, and you look at, well, usually what kind of stocks do short sellers and why, and what's the reason behind it, right? I mean, you see like cancer research companies that are just getting started and they get shorted into the ground. Why? Because it makes more money for, you know, they don't want to see cancer get cured. They don't want to see some of these diseases get cured because big pharma is making so much money off it, right? Off having people get sick. And then, so, you know, if you look at CLOV, what are they, when you look at the big picture and it's not about the health insurance, this Clover Assistant AI, what does it have the potential to do? If all these health providers end up using it, and all these doctors' offices and everyone's using it, and it's creating healthier patients, that's patients that no longer need the medication, that no longer need the assistance, that no longer, that are going to have less
Oh,
doctor's visits and less medication, less
I'm gonna be
pharmaceuticals.
honest with you, man. This is the one topic that strikes a nerve. I look at I look at things like this, man. It's one thing if you have United Health in your portfolio, and you have Humana in your portfolio, and then you see this young buck come out. I mean, this is the Jordan to Kobe story. I'm gonna keep it real. CLOV is Kobe. DraftKings is Jordan, right? You got this uh, Humana. You got United Health. You got this situation where these big hitters, and if I have money invested in these corporations, and that's my job, right? Let's say I'm an investment banker and I mean a wealth manager, something. I'm putting money to all these people. The bottom line is this: if this young buck Kobe comes in the league, didn't even go to college, this jerk, he just coming right in the league to throw down on us. They went hard on Kobe.
Yeah.
They wanted to suppress Kobe at one point, right? Like, you got to earn it in this league. The ish that was talked. Come on. So you look at certain things like this, and it's like, I don't mind sitting tight and understanding that maybe they just are scared of this threat. I don't mind that. Just
Yeah.
like with Tesla, and they laughed at him with Volkswagen and Ford. Come on, yeah, right. No, dude, it's a threat. It's a threat to the ecosystem that they have developed, right? If we want to go to the dark side and talk about how they would love nothing more than to not cure cancer, and you want to go that route, then you could go the same thing with Clove as well on the aspect of their AI. And if this really does what it says it does, and we're starting to see more traction and more traction, it's like when Tesla didn't want to mess up his assembly line and started just giving cameras free on every one of his cars to map out the world so he can document enough miles to start having autopilot on. It's the same thing now with all these deals with Value H in Florida. You're now given access to get more. If they start collecting enough data that they can do what they're set out to do, and that is, of course, improve life by catching things early.
Yep.
I, you go to the ER, you come home from the ER, and then that's it. No, Clove is like, yo, 2 days in, how you feeling? Reach out to this one, make sure he's good. He was just in the ER. Oh man, I'm not doing good. I got a fever. And they come in with some medicine. You give him some antibiotics. You just saved an infection. The man don't go back to the actual ER. Like, if they start legitimately doing this, that's a massive threat to the ecosystem of health. And we're
Yeah.
talking massive threat. So if you want to go to that side, there's that side of it too. It's dark. It's dark. And that, to me, I'm hoping this, coach. I'm hoping they are lowering the stock price just so that they can enter long. I could feel better with that one. I could really genuinely be okay if they just want to go long and they just want to suppress it real quick so they can go long. But I don't want to hear that they don't want to give us the opportunity to be healthier, man, because that shit to me, that's too much, man. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? That shit gets me feisty.
Yeah.
I'm hoping with Clinton's daughter on board and the political impact that she could potentially have, and with the changes that are in Congress right now, as far as these bills to be passed. And I thought it was interesting that Toy was the one of all people, out of all the corporations, you guys, in the entire world, and even on the stock exchange, even private ones, you saw Andrew Toy talking to Congress about what he believes and how they can fix Medicare Advantage and Medicare itself. You think about how intriguing that is to you. Like, you can look it up online. This individual, Andrew Toy, is having conversations about how to improve Medicare in our country. There's a lot of people they could have had talking about this. I hope that they have an opportunity to show the world what they got in a shorter time span is what my initial hope was. Now, I know. Like now I know. Man, I got so much conviction right now, man. It makes me feel euphoric, coach. I feel
Yeah.
euphoric.
You know, and I, it just in terms of like with the conviction and the confidence that yesterday's earnings call and everything gave us, but then at the same time too, I'm looking at like a comment like, does anyone think Clove could be, read by the end of the day? I think we're kind of like past that, right? I mean, yeah, obviously they're
It
still going to
could.
try to short it down, but I also feel like this is something we've been talking about on here. Like as the company grows organically, it becomes harder and harder for shorts to actually short the stock because so many people start seeing this for the value that it is, right? And you're going to see more and more buy pressure coming in, which is just going to make it so much harder for them to suppress it. Like $8 was the old floor. I think we're gonna have a new floor now. It's
I
just
would
gonna
be I
keep.
would be completely shocked if we ever get in the 799 range. I would be shocked. But at the same time, we've seen a lot with this market. I mean, the thing that really kind of for me why I'm not such a heavy chart man, is because I've seen so much, so much good news coming out with so many different corporations that I follow, and then it could just be a blood show because of one thing. One thing comes out, and it's not even having to do with the company Clove. So like, yeah, it could happen for sure. Anything can, but I would be more than shocked to see that this thing touches that 790 range again. If it does, I'm adding. I mean, that's my
Oh
ad mark and my ad mark. So if they ever get below 8 again, I'm adding. I'll keep adding. I'm having fun with this one.
hell yeah! And shit. I mean, even right now, below 9, it's like I don't know how much
It's
longer
wow.
we're gonna be. I don't know how much longer we're gonna be below 9. I mean, in all honesty,
I can tell you. I can tell you my theory, and this goes back to my fails to deliver. Right,
yeah.
Thursdays and Fridays,
Oh, like
they've been trying their hardest to have calls expire worthless, and this might be the very last time they can do it, Coach. If these money makers make some money, market makers make some money off expired worthless, and obviously the hedge funds. I mean, it's all intertwined, right? So I think this might be the last time that they can take a little bit off of these expired calls, because August 20th, I believe the date is.
yeah.
That's when a lot
August 20th is the
of
big date.
calls are there.
Yeah.
That's when a lot of calls are there, and there are more calls than puts. Don't be surprised if a lot of those calls are by the very same people when they reverse course. This is what happens, right?
Yeah.
They're suppressing it. They're making money off calls expiring worthless. When they finally want to reverse, and they needed to see it too. Let's face facts. There's a lot of things that they wanted to see too. We could talk a lot about how they hate on us and they want to suppress us, and they can't. They hate Clove and they want to drive it to the ground. And no, they wanted to see some things too, and I think they saw it. And I think a reversal by the same people that did short it. I think that's first of all. I think it's indefinitely. I think indefinitely imminent. They're gonna do it eventually. I believe. Why would they not make a little bit of money real quick? Because they're greedy. That's what they do to end this week. And I'm not surprised if come Monday morning we see wild pre-market. I'm
Yeah. And,
not.
I,
I'm
and
not surprised.
yeah, and me and you talked about this too the other day, like with them switching up and all that. But yeah, and I mean, and this is kind of like here. I'm just gonna throw it up real quick, like just the daily chart. If you look at the lead up to the last one, so options expiration at the time was, damn, my computer is starting to slow down. Options expiration at the time, I believe, was here, June 18th. Okay.
Mhm.
So it didn't necessarily happen the day of June 18th, would have been Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. It happened the week before, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. So it happened the week before. It'd be like it happening yesterday. You know what I mean? It is when the big run
Right.
up was. But
I think the
just to look at,
difference is earnings on that though. No,
yeah,
because we had a
earnings was
mistakes
actually 2 weeks
versus
prior. Yeah.
2 weeks prior. So we had the drop off because of earnings a little bit, and then that's when it went through. Okay, go ahead. I'm keeping up. Go ahead.
And this expiration date right here, this line was actually pretty loaded up as well, and we didn't get a gamma squeeze there. But if you look at this lead up, right, and you look at the volume pickup, 34 million. This is where I think we're at right now: 34 million, 48 million. And then all of a sudden we saw volume increase to where we at here,
Almost a billion.
125 million day right here on June 7th, which it looks like we're kind of on pace for. I mean, shit, volume today right now is
86 mil. It's gonna be a lot more than that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. We haven't even hit power hour or nothing like that. I mean, we're at 86 million, and if we end today on a nice big green candle, and then this gap up, I think is what really made it happen. Because
Pre-market.
yeah, the pre-market gap up on this day of June 8th was just absolutely crazy, man. And we saw a $4 gap up, like a 30% gap up, and that put so many calls in the money that it was just too late. They couldn't do nothing about it,
Too late. It's
And
too
and
late.
then you look at today, and yeah, the chart doesn't look exactly the same, but we are starting to trend up. We're seeing a volume increase. We went from 25 to 30 to 33, and now today we're at 86. Who knows where we're going to end? This could be that next step where we propel upwards. You know what I mean?
It,
Um,
it's 8 a.m. It's 8 a.m. It's 8 a.m. at 86 mil.
yeah, that's crazy. I
Pacific
love
Standard
that you're on
8
the West Coast with me because me and you both talking Pacific time
Yeah,
zone. I always get confused when
man.
everybody else is
I
like,
swear Tar Heels got me with that one, man. I'm like 9 to 10. I was so excited. Like, hey, he said, oh, it's Eastern. I said, damn. Woo. I'm up at like 5:30 every day, man. But I had to get up at like 4:30 that day, and that one got me. That one got me.
yeah, I'm
Man,
I'm learning.
I haven't said nothing to the chat, man. I hope y'all don't understand. Y'all understand. We excited right now, man. So I apologize if you guys posted some information and I didn't see. Does
So
Ghost have a Twits or Tubes?
do
No,
you have like a
nothing.
YouTube or Twitter account, anything like that?
I got nothing, man. I don't have any social media. I haven't had social media in 6 years, 6 years in like 10 years. I just, man, I'm so focused. I've been so laser focused. It's funny, man. It's the day I took myself away from social media and cell phone games and every single distraction I had was like the day's success for me was like a whole nother level, for me. And I'm not talking about just financially. I'm talking about just like my well-being, the success in that. It's like I had everything just going so smooth, and I just wanted to laser focus on a few things. And man, I got 3 daughters I love, my wife I love. I'm so blessed to have a happy, healthy family, man. And I focus on my career, I focus on my loved ones, and I focus on things that entertain me. And to be quite honest with you, it's been the market for a long time now. And I've heard a lot of people asking about Twitter and YouTube. Man, I don't know, man. I don't even look too much that far in advance. I'm very whimsical when it comes to things like these. If y'all don't stop telling me though, I might have to do something, man. Cause I appreciate the love, man, and I want y'all to understand that I really do appreciate the love, big time. I really do. When
I'll
Coach
put
hit
the
me up today in the morning, man, I was like, let's go, let's run it. It's fun to me, man.
I'll
It's
put this
fun.
up here because if you do want to follow, there you go. That's on Reddit at least. That's one social media he's got.
You
So
know what that is? I guess social media. I trip out. You don't send your own pictures. You don't send your own video. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I'm a character. It's like I'm Ghost on there. It's different to me. But yeah, I do have a Reddit. My fault. I do.
I'm
I
I'm
do.
kind of I'm kind of on the same tip though. Like I have a Twitter and a Facebook and an Instagram. Like I have one, but I never log in there. I mean, it's almost like a joke. Like sometimes I'll run into my friends. They'll be like, "Bro, I sent you that thing on Instagram." It's like, man, I haven't logged in on Instagram in 3 months. You know what I mean? Like I just don't go on it. The only time I click on any of those is if somebody sends me a link. So like
Right.
if somebody's like, "Hey, check this out," and it's a link to Instagram, then it's like I'll click on it, and that's the first time I've gone on Instagram in 3 months or whatever. But so I have
Right.
them. I never use them. And then but on that same token, I ended up getting a Twitter just for the Coach B stocks because I've been pretty active on Twitter, following other people and kind of lurking on Twitter for a while. So I just started one
Right.
of those recently. And
Yeah, that's
because
another thing. You don't really until you hit that private account. You're like, I don't need it. I can still look if I want. You know what I mean?
yep,
But but you're right. There's that. Those every once in a while I've came across those accounts where I'm like, damn, I want to see what this man had to say, or I want to see what this girl was talking about. Like, man, I'll think about it, man. I definitely will think about it, y'all. Definitely will think about it. Zeke, what it do, Zeke? Bitch, I'm a ghost. I see you, Fluffer. I see you, Fluffer.
Target
Her
short
name
seller
crack.
says, "Don't forget your kids and your job." Yeah, no, I called in sick today, man. I was yesterday was just hard, and and I've been so busy like with my schoolwork and everything else, and I mean I'm going back tomorrow. I needed to take I kind of and Ghost said it. He's like, man, when you were talking about it yesterday, you already made up your mind, and I
You
kind of
did.
did. Like I knew yesterday, like you know what, and I mean, I got so many sick days because I haven't called in sick or taken a personal day in like 3 years.
You know
Um,
what cracks me up?
so I got hell. They roll over. I got like 30 sick days.
You know what cracks me up, Coach? You on YouTube live talking about calling out sick. It sounds like an oxymoron. You know they gonna catch you. You
Yeah,
know they gonna catch you.
yeah. Nah,
Yeah, man, it
especially.
cracked me up. I'm like, he's telling everyone he's going on sick days.
Well, shit. I'm sure it's one of my coworkers. Someone's probably seen this or will watch it or whatever. And you know what I mean. But
Exactly.
I mean, I have the days. It
Exactly.
is what it is. Um,
I love it, man. I love it. What's up, Tibiz? Let's fucking go, man. Love that guy, man.
so
Love
man,
that guy.
it's getting so. I guess Tarheel's going back. He's gonna go strong again today, man.
Guy, man. Can we talk about that?
Yeah,
This
yeah. Go
man went.
ahead.
This guy went what? 10 hours straight?
Yeah,
My God. I was worried, man, in the beginning, man. When he told me he's going, I was like, yo, man, all right, this guy knows what he's doing, you know? And I was worried, man, he's going to faint. He need to eat something. I swear to you, I texted him, right? I have to read you the text I texted this man. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was the funniest thing. Cause I really was thinking like, man, he needs to take at least a 5 minute something. This man is a monster to be able to do that. I said, I'm gonna be around all day. Anytime you need company, let me know. But really, a shit break, a lunch break, some catnap, something, bro.
yeah.
And he's just, I'm good. He's doing it, and I'm just like, damn. So in the background, I had it up like the whole day. Every once in a while, I come check it out. If I heard something pique my ear, a new guest came on, I'm like jumping on. But I'm grinding at the same time. So I'm trying to, and man, it was just, I can't believe he did it. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. And he was up later after that too.
Oh, was
He's
yeah? I
on
didn't even talk
Discord.
to
He's
him.
on
I
Discord
figured he
after
went to
hours too.
bed. Was he on the Discord last night?
Yeah, man. They're like ghosts. Come to after hour Discord after hours or whatnot. I'm jumping on and everyone's like, boo. We having a good time, having a blast. And he's on here still. I'm like, yo, man,
Yeah.
Tar Heel, man. That's a
Shit. Well,
man
he
on a
was
mission.
up. He was up this morning too. I mean, he texted me at 5 a.m. when I mean, so he was up. That was fun though. Like I didn't go on there last night. I mean, shit, I was tired as hell.
Me
But
too.
last night, or Friday night, was it last Friday? I went on there and I never really go on Discord unless it's like to send somebody a message. And I
Right.
went in the main chat, and man, they were going wild last Friday night. I mean, this was
Oh,
probably, and it was Friday afternoon for us. I want to say it was maybe like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and everybody on there had started drinking. Then I went back in like an hour later, 2 hours later. You could tell everybody was hammered. I told Booth, I was like, man,
you tell the
you need to
difference.
trademark that, and next time do it with a Zoom call. You just take the Discord, do it on a Zoom. You can have all these people hammered on
Hey,
there.
have you seen the? Are you talking about how you could do the audio on it?
Oh, did they do audio yesterday?
See, that was the first time I did that yesterday. I didn't even know it existed. I
Oh,
seen
so
it
they did an
like head to the
audio
app.
chat.
Yeah, I jumped in like all of a sudden, like hello, like okay, so it is audio. Like what's good? And I just hear like commotion on commotion. The amount of booze I got. They're like, we got to make this is the new theme. We're gonna do boo like this Halloween shit. Like they had me dying, bro. It was fun though. Yeah, they had it on audio. I wonder if you could do it on video. See, that's why I like WhatsApp, man.
Yeah.
WhatsApp, man. I use it for like, TJ, Israel overseas work we've been doing, and to see the WhatsApp thing is cool, man, because you can do like a FaceTime. It doesn't matter if you have Google, you know, an iPhone or an Android. So there's certain things that they got, but I wonder if Discord would implement a Zoom call-ish way to do it, because that would be cool, man, to see what everyone looks like. Man, that's the funny thing. Again, I don't look at it like social media because no one really knows what we look like. Well, until now, obviously for me, but anyone looks like. No
Yeah,
one
no,
has
I
their
didn't.
real
I didn't know you
pictures and
guys
stuff,
were
man.
actually doing a voice chat last night. No, I
Yeah, bro,
thought
it's
the
a
last
voice
time
chat.
on Friday when I was talking about, we were just, like in the main chat room or whatever, and you could just
Yeah,
tell everybody was hammered. You know what I mean?
up
Like,
until last night, yeah, me too. You see words spelled wrong.
yeah, yeah. Look, this just real quick. If we 893 seems to be a point that maybe if we can kind of break above this right now, it would definitely be in a, kind
You
of
got
reversing the trend that seems to be like the old kind of resistance level. So we're getting a little bit of a breakout right now, man. Um, I'd love to see us get
the
back up to
reversal.
VWAP.
The reversal is happening. Just
Yeah.
I don't know. This I oh yeah, that looks phenomenal right now. Oh yeah, yeah. That's
So
actually what you want to see. To be quite honest with you, it's getting coiled.
yeah. So
It's
who
coiled.
like or what time were you guys on there till?
No, man. You know what? I'll be honest with you. It was early for me. It was probably like I want to say like 7:38. I don't know how long they stayed on. I think I was like 7 o'clock, maybe even Pacific Standard. And I was just
Damn.
like 10 for them. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's
man,
hella
Tarheel,
late then.
yeah. I'm like, Tarheel, it's 10, bro. You need to get some rest, bro. We're just so high on fumes, bro. Like high on life. You know what I'm saying? Like like it's just such a good feeling, man. I told them all in there last night, man. Like this is like a new family for me, man. Like this is like the amount of love and the camaraderie that we have, and how we have each other's back on every angle is just like it's so fun to be a part of this kind of stuff, man. So fun. This is once in a lifetime. Like what time this is. You know what I mean? What a time this is, man. It's beautiful, man.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
for
we
real. I
definitely
feel the same way
uh,
too. Like, how you said like kind of like family and stuff. It's like bro, like I say it all the time, but I started doing this stream. I wasn't expected to ever do any of this type of stuff, and then all of a sudden, it's like now I look forward to it. Like every morning, the same names, always in the chat on the in
yeah.
the on the stream in the morning, kind of like it's like I look forward to it, almost like I'm going down to Starbucks to hang out with my friends and watch the opening bell. Everyone's just kind of sitting at home and participating in the chat, and it's really cool. It's just like a really cool community, man. That's kind of built behind
It
this. And
really is, man. It really is. I swear it really is, man. It's so special. It's such a good feeling. Such a good feeling because all the haters out there that were just suppressing Clove and all the shit that people talk. Every forum you ever go to, you could be on something basic like Yahoo Finance, man, and just the amount of hate that people have and the laughter, ha ha ha, holding bags, ha ha. It doesn't ever get to me, but it's like I'm the type that when you rubbing in things like this enough times, I'm very quiet. I just am like, I can't wait to prove you wrong. And like, you don't have as much power when it's a stock. You can't change nothing. You got what the fuck they're gonna do. Excuse me, what they're gonna do. So you kind of just have to know your conviction and just wait for it to kind of manifest / unfold. So to see yesterday's earnings calls like that was like for the naysayers out there that can hate on us all they want. Like we'll be the ones laughing to the bank in the long haul, man. And we've been saying this since day one. Fuck a squeeze, coach. Like for real, man. To be quite honest with you, squeezes sometimes bother me, man, when I'm in a stock that's squeezing all over the place. It's too volatile. And if I don't weigh my
yep,
portfolio right, it's messing up my numbers, making me look like I'm either doing really well or I'm doing really bad, not knowing what the circumstance is. So it makes me volatility sometimes is not the most fun, right? I mean, it's not. So the squeeze is I would prefer to see this organically go from 8 to 10 to 12 to 14 to 16 to 18 to 20 to 22 by the year's end. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Or by
just
the end of
that
next year.
that kind of
And
slow, natural,
and this,
organic growth, and yeah, instead
yeah,
of all that
to be
volatility.
honest, to be honest.
Well, you know
And I
why
think
too. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, because it kind of it puts you in a situation where like I want to own Clove for years. I really do. I want to own it when it's trading at $800. Even if that's 10 years from now. But the problem is with the squeeze and just the trader in me. Like I know I've said it multiple times. Even if I go off of your new analysis of $50, right? It's like, Okay, so if $50 is what we should be at right now, cool. Well, if we get up to 100 tomorrow, I'm gonna sell because the stock isn't worth 100 right now. You know what I mean? And I know that it'll come back down, and now I'll get back in because it's just that trader mentality. But
I feel you.
what ends up happening is because when you're in love with a stock long term, you end up holding through those peaks, the volatility, right? So now it's like we went up to 28. I held. I even added on the way back down. So now I'm still holding. Then if we go up to like 100 and it's like my long-term price target's 800, I'm going to see my account balance go up. And then if I hold and we drop back down to 20, it's like, shit, I could have profited so much. So it puts you in this scenario where it's like, okay, well, what if I sell at 100 and take my profits and the stock keeps running and then it goes to, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's,
Yeah,
it's, it's
I
hard.
feel you so much, man. And I look at it. In a multitude of ways. It's like, you know, swing trading, momentum trading, day trading, whatever the trading type, you have within us, right? I mean, we got to face facts. It's a thrill to like kind of find one and do some due diligence and then like make that move and then like get rewarded. That's a thrill. As far as it goes, it's like, yeah, no, maybe it's not worth 100 right now, but can you imagine if you do get rid of a little bit? This is my thought process. If I understand, like, I read a lot of people's like sentiment, and it's a lot of people want to like, I'm going to sell this much if this happens, or I'm going to sell this much if this happens, or I'm going to sell this much. Look, I think it's important to just know your own threshold. Like for me personally, I don't like paying a lot of money in taxes. So if I'm keeping it long haul, and I really didn't open my eyes at all, and I look in 10 years from now, and it's sitting at, I don't know, 300,
Yeah.
something basic, right? Just 300, just looking at United Health's market cap of about almost 400 billion. So 400, right? Let's just say it's like, what does it matter if it's 100 today or tomorrow in a squeeze or 20, So it comes down to what your agenda is. I think if it explodes like crazy in the short run, yeah, dude, you almost got to take the L a little bit on taxes, and yeah, you might have to trim a little bit to kind of protect yourself from that violent, situation. But unless you have money that coach, unless you see an opportunity on the sideline that you are trying to get into, what would you take the money out of Clove for to put in? Is my question, I guess.
Nah, I feel you on that. And and like so on the last run up, right? I sold all my calls, but I held my shares. And that's a way of
Oh
doing it
yeah,
too, right?
oh
So I
yeah,
mean,
my
it's
fault.
kind of like it's like,
Yeah.
but like let's say you put a legit price target on this right now, like, you know, $50 is what we should be trading at right now. Well, yeah, maybe it'll take 3 months to get there or something, but at what point where if we do squeeze, because you're talking about the squeeze, like at what point, let's say we hit 300 tomorrow. Like at what point are you just like, okay, I gotta take my profit now because it's gotta fall down. Everything falls, right? You know what I mean? And then
So yeah, I think like this, like, what's your risk versus reward, I guess, right? I mean,
yeah.
like for me personally, what's your threshold? I guess we all have like a specific amount that's just like, yeah, come on, you're telling me if it hits $1,000 tomorrow, you're not going to sell some of it? Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
come on, like, that's right, right.
There's
I think
gonna
for
be
me, it's
something,
like,
right? There's gonna be
yeah,
something to where it's like, okay, I know this stock is gonna be worth $500 8 years from now, but if it hits 500
my
tomorrow, that's
favorite
10
thing,
times what, the price we're putting on it. Yeah, I
my,
mean,
my
or
favorite
you,
thing, coach, my favorite thing is reducing the overall investment, like to where it's like so minute, or eliminating in general, and then letting every free share you ever have ride, right? Like that's one of my favorite things to do, to be quite honest with you.
yeah. And
This
that's
is
a
one
good
I'm
point
gonna have a
too.
very hard time doing the same philosophy.
No, that's a great
Go
point.
ahead, go ahead.
Like just slowly scale out to where now everything that you have is free, right? And then that way, if it
Right.
drops back down, now you could take that money you scaled out and buy back in and double your position or do whatever you want with that extra cash. But you
I mean,
scaled
depending
out to
on your
where now
goal,
you're
for sure.
yeah, and now you're riding on the house. So,
I do
everything.
it different though. I hear a lot of things like 25%, or 50%. Like, yeah, dude. There's been some situations where like the stock's doubled up overnight, and I don't really have that much conviction in the stock that just it happened. I did this recently. TTD, the trade desk, TTD. I had heard they're doing the stock split because Nvidia was also doing one, and I already had a heavy, not heavy, but a decent amount in Nvidia. And so when I heard TTD was, and I had bought it and I had sold it and made a little bit, and I bought it, and I was like, man, I should have held this. But when I heard the stock split was coming in, they just got pummeled from all growth stocks did back in what, February, March of this year. I took an opportunity and I loaded up on some TTD. Why? Because I said if they're doing a 10-to-1 stock split, this is now going to be 50, $60. There's going to be a lot of people that can now get some skin in the game on a company that I think at one point was over $1,000 before the split. So
Yeah.
when it rocked, I think it went up 35%, 40% in 2 weeks after it split, and then all of a sudden people added some in. So yeah, at that point, yeah, I sold I think 60% of it. I took profits and my original investment back, and I let the 40% ride. But I don't have conviction in TTD. I don't even know enough information about this company. With CLOV, I do. I promise you this much. I don't think I can sell more than 2 to 5% at a time if this thing really did moon overnight. That's why I
Yeah.
don't want it to moon overnight almost, because I'd rather keep my shares. Like seriously, I'd rather it not go crazy, crazy, crazy.
Yeah,
Because I
like
know
that
there's going to
more
be a lot of
organic Tesla. If it was to squeeze up like a Tesla where it's just stair stepping along the way, I ain't selling shit either. You know what I mean? Because then it's like you're just seeing it going.
I swear,
But
I swear.
it's just when you see it happen like overnight, like holy shit, we just went times 30, and then it kind of makes you feel a little different. But it's funny you bring up. Did me and you talk about TTD the other day or no?
Mm, I don't think so. To be honest, we might have, man.
So the
I'm so
trade desk
blurred.
is a stock that I've had in my other portfolio, my long term investment one since $100. Back this was like 5 years ago or whatever. And then it went
Mm,
up to 900, and then the stock split. But now in my trading account, this account that I'm on right now, that bro, when I seen they were gonna do the stock split, I was telling some of my friends, like, same thing you said. Now you're talking about, like, can you imagine if tomorrow GameStop did a 10-to-1 stock split and GameStop selling
right.
at $15?
Come
Everybody
on, man.
that's in AMC right now would jump ship and just load into GameStop all at once
Come on.
because it's that dollar amount. And so what I was, because I believe in the trade desk. I mean, I've had them for like I said, probably like 4 years, 5 years now in my long term portfolio. And so when I saw that stock split, I knew it was going to run up, and I wanted to buy some calls on it. I wanted to like trade it at the same time in this account, and I just didn't have the dry powder, man, because I got I was
Gotta get
already in a
close.
bunch of other plays, and I missed the boat on it, man. But I saw the same
That
thing
was
you're
an
talking
obvious.
about.
Yeah, that was obvious run up to me. There's certain ones that are doing splits that I don't really like think they'll get too much traction, but let me rephrase. Like, it's not that I don't have conviction with the trade desk. I kept shares on purpose because I definitely believe in them. I just don't know enough about the corporation. Like, I didn't do a full blown like I normally do. You know what I mean? Like where I did with Nvidia, or where I did with Tesla, or where I did with Apple. I mean, Apple DraftKings. There's a few different companies that I've done that with. Digital Turbine is one. Digital Turbine, to me, for those of you that don't know that one, it's apps, APPS, apps is the symbol. Um, they basically get downloaded on a lot of Androids without you even knowing. It's some kind of software behind the scenes, and it kind of bridges the gap between. It's like the Shopify of cell phones. I feel like that's like the best way I can describe it. And I got into them heavy uh, last year. Um, they blew up. Even right now, they have a lot of pressure, and again, growth companies dropping like crazy. Where we at with them? Yeah, they're down to 57.86. I can't believe that. I mean, I'm still up 80%. I'm still up 80% on that investment. I already took off, my original investment already is gone. That's all my profits, and I'm still up 80% on the actual shares. And I think that company has so much potential. They were over $100 at one point, and they just keep showing with their numbers: growth, growth, growth. There's a lot of opportunities out there. So I understand the whole, if Clove went to the moon, taking a little bit off the top. I'm not gonna do it like that. Like I'm not. Like, I read something a while ago, and it was like, let your winners run. Let your winners run. Like, the people that always are so diversified and change it up, and you know take off your trim as it goes up. A lot have regrets, man. There's this one article about a man who was with the Amazon, and he sold at like $2.30. Then he bought back in at $4, and then it ran up again, and he sold at $10. And he did the math, like he did a hard number crunch of math, and it was like he literally lost like $15 million if the first time he ever bought Amazon, he just kept it. And like that heart feeling, that the heartfelt message that I read within that was just like, if I'm in a position to let my winners run, I'm gonna let them run. Two
Hell
to
yeah.
5% off the top there, yeah, sure. But I'm letting them run now. I've been using that philosophy for a while now, because if you've done your due diligence and you have conviction on it, what's the point? You know what I mean? What's the point?
Hell
But
yeah.
it's definitely, we'll see. We'll
I'm
see.
with you. I'm with you. I'm with you
We're
100%.
getting a hell of a run right now.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Speaking of running and stuff, so we're about to get. This is a 5 minute chart. We've been running hot on the MACD for a while. RSI just got above 50, and we're about to get the 9 crossing over the 21, and hopefully we get a nice little bust through VWAP and really start this going. But we are above 9, and this is, I think, is the breaking point. I think any suppression that they were trying to pull today was to get us below 9, because that's like where the majority of the calls around the money are, and we just got those back in the money. So I think we're gonna really start seeing some
We're gonna
magic
hit a
right now.
hundred. We're gonna hit 100 million by 9, by 8:30 maybe even. Hey, I don't know, man. I think personally, it usually takes like 2 3 days for the news to really cycle. Like, and I mean deep cycle. It takes about 2 to 3 days for massive earnings, especially Clove. I mean, you know how many companies I follow where I just go on Yahoo Finance real quick just to see a quick little tidbit on it. And bro, they have one company talking about their earnings yesterday. Just one, most basic printout you'll ever see. Not one person has anything about this stock right now. These shorts they got to get out, man. They're going to be in so much trouble if they don't hurry up. If they're not in the process of doing so right now. I'm
Yep.
telling you.
Hey, so I've been reading through the chat while you've been talking, man, and everybody's like, "Oh, Ghost is so great." Someone said Ghost is a great co-host. Narwhal says Coach and Ghost. Hey, we could talk afterwards too, man.
Coach
But
and Ghost.
we could even make it a weekly if you want to pick like one day that works for you, man, and we just rap all day, because I like this, man. Just talking about even other stocks and just trading and everything else,
Yeah,
man. So we'll talk, but if we could make it
yeah.
like,
Let's
pick a day of the week
let's
and
give
we'll
let's
keep it
talk, man.
rolling. I like it.
I love it, man. I'll be honest with you. I love it, man. It's fun. I need to get a little bit better with this keeping up with the chat, man. I ain't read nothing, man. I
It's
feel so
yes.
bad, man. I get to yapping. I'm a talker, man. So I get to yapping, and I'm over here looking at Coach like he can even. I got a little thumbnail for you, bro, and I'm still looking at you because I'm used to making eye contact when I talk. I'm not used to the digital world still, guys. Forgive me. Forgive me.
Yeah, my neighbor was saying, I don't know if anyone noticed, I did the new layout right here too, because I was talking to my neighbor yesterday, and he's like, bro, the only thing that sucks is he's like, it's so hard to see you guys when you have a guest. He's like, you got to make your box bigger. So actually, I'm just gonna take that into consideration right now too, and see if I could. I'm gonna adjust this. Look, let's see. We'll go to here,
Oh yeah, a little better.
and then I'm gonna go like.
I'm trying to see how I can even make this my whole screen like that. I don't understand. I haven't used this MacBook Pro. I got it last year during the pandemic, thinking I'm gonna need it. And I was like, man, I'm working from home, man. So I grabbed all my office, moved it all the way to my garage. Got my gym and my office together now. And I'm telling you right now, I don't use it like that. So I'm like, man, I was having a hard time getting it up for our first show. I was having a hard time trying to find it. Like, man, how do I do this? I haven't messed with it in a minute. So I need to do something for sure.
Yeah, I mean, shit, I could even get rid of these other 3 tickers over here too. But yeah, we could
I mean,
figure it
I think
out.
on times like this, sure, we on Clove right now hard. So I think on times like this, yeah, there's a lot of opportunities, man. I told you on the first time I met you, as far as on your show. Obviously, I met you prior, but on the channel, man, we could talk about this portfolio, that I put together, man. That I got a lot of people that love me, man. That I love dearly. That I love sharing information with, man. And true story, man. I was talking to my boy it's crazy. I was talking to him on Monday. Like, man, I know I've told you about CLOV. And he's like, yeah, you have. I'm gonna wait till their earnings come out. I want to see something. And this guy is like high up in the banking world. So like, he's really like, let me look, let me do my research, bro. You know what I mean? He's not gonna take stock picks from me. Just like he won't even tell me stock picks, bro, because he's just there's that weird gray area where he's like, just do your due diligence, risk and reward, and just do And the day before earnings, so what was it, Tuesday? I
Yep.
called him back like, yo, I got this. I'm telling you right now, I got this weird feeling, bro, that you need to just buy this shit now. You always press me about time in versus timing, bro. Stop worrying about earnings. Get in and enjoy the ride. And I told him this yesterday, or Tuesday, day before yesterday. He shot me a text with the four letters CLOV and a double I's. Because by the end of that call, he's like, you do realize you rambled for 28 minutes and 56 seconds. You didn't even let me say a word. I said, no, I didn't realize that, bro. He's like, I already bought some CLOV, asshole. You got me. I'm like, fuck, dude. What do you mean you got me, bro? I'm trying to help you, bro. You showed me love. I want to show you love. And to see that happen yesterday, he hit me with the eyes, and he's just like, man, there you go. What we got here?
No, I pulled this up while
Call
you
me.
were talking because I seen Ross popped in. He said, "I'm not the only one." Um,
So,
nah, I got so many friends I've told about it, and a lot of them got in, but then there's always the ones that that haven't, and then they'll and it was the same thing for me with I've been messing around with this trying to get this set up the way I had it before there we go. Um, so, anyways, yeah, man, I got friends. Same thing with GameStop that I was telling to get in on GameStop, and they ended up not listening. They didn't do it, and and then later it was like, bro, you should have told me. It's like, man, I told you at 40. I told you at this was back in December. But anyways, yeah, there's people that are never gonna listen until it happens, and then they're gonna shit, I should have listened, and I've been
yeah.
on the other side of that too, where friends have told me about certain stocks, and I'm like, nah. And then later the
Uh,
thing blows up, and that's part of it too, though. You can't get on everything. You can't play every stock.
this is why I'm always, when I'm telling my people about a specific, DraftKings back in the day, I've only done it with a few where I've called people like, yo, you know, where I just feel like I went through rabbit hole on rabbit hole on rabbit hole. And this just makes too much sense. I have a really close friend of mine, man. We're 8 days apart. I've known him since 13 years old, right? And my boy, he's sitting here and he's like, he calls me early in the pandemic. And he's like, man, look up this company. I'm like, which one? He's like, Penn, PENN. And I'm like, all right. So I look it up. It's like $13 or something, maybe even 16 at this point. And I'm like, what about it? I can actually pull it up to tell you exactly what I was looking at the time. Just still, where are we at? Penn. I
Pins
just had a heart
the
attack.
other gaming company, right?
I just had a heart attack. I couldn't see where I thought I sold Penn somehow for CLOV. I was like, oh, well, okay. I know I like CLOV that much, but goddamn it, where my Penn at? So, so, okay. So I sold some of it. I sold a little bit of March, that my March buys were. So back in April, this stock was $13.62. That might have been the first day I bought it, actually. Yeah, I'm tripping. Okay, so April 15th, I believe, is the first day I bought it. But my boy calls me. Penn National Gaming is they have so many land-based casinos. It's disgusting. But what happened when he called me, my boy, he goes, yo, Penn, there's this dude named Davey Portnoy. He's on Barstools. He's at it, and he's like going off, bro. And I'm just like, what is Barstools? Bro, it's like this online thing. I go there all the time because he's a sports gambler. I go there all the time and I find out which to line, and they're sick, bro. They're sick, and he's going nuts, bro. And I'm like, yo, you got this much conviction, bro. Like, I'll roll with you. What we doing on this, And he's like, I already bought a little bit, but I'm thinking about selling my laundromat and but put going all in. And I'm like, yo, bro, take it easy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all for whatever choice you make, but like, just think about it very carefully. He's like, I know, I've been thinking about it. I got to do it. I got it. And he's like hyper, bro. So I bought that day, a measly 150 shares, whatever. I'll see what happens, Coach, when I seen this hit 34, 36, I think, which was its all-time high or 52-week high at the time,
Mm-hmm.
took a few months. I tripled up and I sold 70 shares, kept 80. Yep, sold 70 shares, kept 80. I regret it still. It touched $149 at one point.
Yeah.
Why? I didn't do like 2 to 5% sales. I did half of my. I took my investment back, and then some. I can't do that anymore. That's the whole let the winners run. Like I can't do it anymore. Me personally, I just can't. Like I won't do more than 2 to 5% off on spikes. I won't do it anymore.
Yeah.
If I know the stock, if I know the stock.
I feel you. Hey, I got a favor to ask.
Go for it.
You wanna take over for 1 second? I'm gonna go make some more coffee.
Yeah, absolutely,
All right.
absolutely. Give me two. Give me
There's
two
one
seconds. Let me
comment
grab a
that might
Gatorade.
be pretty old that I wanted to bring up. Maybe if you want to address it. Not obviously not financial advice, but Kaiser Roy says, just got into investing. Should I buy Clove now? Maybe if you want to even just tell them what what you think, like why you think it's a great investment, or you could
Hey, look,
just get in the chat and answer some questions, whatever. I'm gonna go grab some coffee though.
yeah, do your thing. Man, I always get questions like this, you guys. Like, should I buy? Is this the time? I mean, you really got to do research on your own. You really do have to like. There's access to things. You got to go online. You got to do your research. What it comes down to is risk versus reward. For me, this is just my advice, mind you. Okay, I mean not my advice. This is just me. What I take. This is how I go about my business. I do risk versus reward. How much am I willing to put in on something if I truly believe that it's got the potential to grow? That's all it comes down to. So as far as should you or would you, you don't want to look to places to purchase shares of a corporation. You don't want to look for that because it's like you can come to me and I could straight up tell you yes, and then you don't. It takes a shit, and now you're actually mad at someone else instead of holding yourself accountable. Or I go, oh no, not right now. It's up 12%. You don't want to buy it on a green day, right? And then you don't buy it, and then it doesn't stop. So I don't like ever answering questions, and I do, no disrespect, by the way. I do this with my family and friends. Like I genuinely don't tell anybody when or should I purchase something. You got to just understand the facts. You got to understand as much information as you can divulge into to make sense of whatever you're doing in this game. To be honest with you, TSS hit us with 100 million volume by 8:40, guys. Pacific Standard by 8:40. That chart is looking so sexy. Wow. They're day trading right now. I can tell you that much. So Ghost, that's 2 to 5% from the top will also apply to Clove. Peter Mikas. Um, I'm very whimsical with the stock game, you guys. Just full disclosure. Like I have a feeling, I get a vibe, I get intuition, and I make my decisions based upon that. My rule of thumb for everything up until Clove has been 2 to 5%. Because I've made mistakes like Pan, where I sold half when it hit its 52-week high, thinking that we bounced back from the 2020 March lows. It doesn't have too much more to run up, and boy was I wrong. It doubled. It's double that now. So it depends. The 2 to 5% it was kind of something I keep in the background that I kind of try and abide by, so to speak. But at the end of the day, no, it's not with Clove. I think Clove, I have more conviction on Clove than anything else. So it's been very difficult for me to put a number on it. And when will I? I got to be whimsical with this, man. Um, Ghost, what other tickers are you watching? What other tickers are you watching? I mean, I could tell you a couple of things that I'm really digging right now. Um, I brought it up earlier, Digital Turbine. I really do like this company a lot. I really like Digital Turbine. You should look into it. Their tickers apps. I think that's a great opportunity in there. Um, again, for me, I'm very whimsical. So I'm looking at specifics. Like if I saw, there was a day I saw when the vaccine first got gotten first like talked about it being like it's official, we got a vaccine. I saw Dave and Buster's and Carnival Cruise skyrocket like 30% and 40% in one day. And so I'm not the short monsters. I'm not a put guy, but I said, yo, man, that's gonna flex back a little bit. So I bought a couple puts on the day just to quick flip it the next morning. And then of course what happened? It was down like 15, 16% the next day. I clucked them off. I have Dave and Buster's to this day in my portfolio. I think I got a small 50 left, and that's pure profit. 50 little shares left of Dave and Buster's. That's pure profit. And I already, obviously, I'm up 181% on the ones that I have left. So it's all about being whimsical for me, man. I really, your thoughts on Lucid? Coach leaves for a second and we jump above VWAP.
Yeah, that's like every day, man. Every day, when as soon as I sign off, as soon as I walk away, it's like as
It's
soon as
so
I
funny.
ignore the stock, then all of a sudden it takes off. But go ahead, I wasn't trying to interrupt you, man. I was
No,
listening
you're
too.
good. No, you're good. I'm very whimsical. So like when people ask like, what are your tickers right now? I can name a few that I have right now. But for me, I'm just very, very invested on like the feel of everything. I'm telling you, like Tar Heels was asking me yesterday about charts and things of that nature. Like, yeah, I could read them. Yeah, I definitely look into them. I definitely make some decisions based upon some charts. I mean, like we talking about VWAP right now. Like, yeah, there's certain things, but I don't let that be my sole conviction. I don't let that be my only conviction because I'm not. I am more of a momentum trader in between a long haul investor, like a swing trader. I'm not the one that's like day trades very often, and there are times where I do it, where I see an opportunity that I think is worth it. But I'm more like momentum trade. Like I said with TTD, it came in the news when I'm watching Nvidia. I'm hearing they're both doing stock splits, so that was the day I purchased them and rode it till after the split. Once the split occurred, I waited as it went up a little bit to start, and then as soon as it started to trail backwards, I was happy with my 40% gains in 2-3 weeks or whatever it was. You know what I mean? So I'm more of a trader like that in that aspect, but more or less long haul investor. That's what I consider myself, long haul investor, to be honest with you.
Yep. No,
These comments are going in, man. Got
I know
paragraphs.
it's hard to keep up, man. It really is, especially like the more people that are on the stream but no,
Man, it's no joke.
I'm kind of the same way too. Like in terms of um day trading. I mean, I used to do more day trading. Like let's say in the summertime before I started doing this stream, but when I'm off work and I'm home and you can, I do way more day trading, but now it's more swing trading and like you're saying, momentum. I'll get into something because I think
Yeah,
something's on the horizon, and then when it happens, then I'm out, or I'll invest in something that I think is undervalued that's on its way up, or but not too
being
much day trading.
being back in school is hard to do that kind of stuff, right?
Oh hell yeah!
So
That's
for
why it's all about now. It's all about swing. Like I get into something
that,
like
thank
a
you,
DraftKings that I'm shooting for February on, or you know what I mean. Like to me, I think the DraftKings
100%.
earnings call that incorporates all of football season is gonna be the big one that I want to be at least sell before on the way up, moving into it, or be a part of it if they're undervalued at the time. You know what I'm saying? That's where I was looking at with
I,
DraftKings.
I'll be honest with you. I think DraftKings is legitimately underrated to this day.
Yeah.
I really do. I look at what they're doing. What people don't understand about DraftKings is they got a 10-year agreement with ESPN. That's nation. That's the whole world, man. And when it's why that's important is when you get an agreement with a company like ESPN and contracts with the NFL, and mind you, they have a lot of teams now under their belt for a lot of different sports, like weird shit. They're like lacrosse, the game lacrosse. Like what? They're UFC. They have pretty much every blanket covered on every aspect, including legitimate teams themselves too. Philadelphia, no, not Philadelphia Eagles. New York Giants.
I think they
They're
just
the
did
official.
they just announced the Red Sox recently, and
I'm telling you.
there
So
was
this is what it
somebody
does, though,
else.
coach. This is what it does, coach. It refrains them, but it's like an early ticket to do advertisement for them, right? You pay this money up front. It does a big hit to your to your earnings per share. You're not profitable yet because of this big chunk of change you threw out. But then now you got a 10-year agreement. You don't have to pay for any advertisement at that point on those on those channels. Man, now you start to become profitable. like crazy when it's beyond that time frame. And we're talking about states that haven't been. When Massachusetts becomes legal to sports bet, that's where DraftKings is. That's their home. That's where they're from. That's where they started.
Yeah.
When that happens, coach, that's when I believe they're about to have it on lock, because it's their home. They know everybody, their hometown faves, dude. I can't imagine when that happens, what ultimately happens to DraftKings. And so each state's opening up, and I kind of touched base with this to kind of go back to CLOV even. These states that they're starting to get integrated in and expanding their footprint, it reminds me so much of DraftKings. It's like there's so
Yeah.
much potential, man. So I
Clove
think
is Clove is
DraftKings
opening
is
up
a
their
long ball swing.
geographic footprint, and then but DraftKings it's a little bit different. What I like about DraftKings too is anybody can play DraftKings
Right,
nationwide, the daily
right.
fantasy stuff, right? So they
Which
already
is their
have a
biggest thing.
nationwide user base, but then now it's like, okay, well, if they legalize the sports gaming in California, how many people do they have in California now that could just
The
jump
rap.
on and start betting already and don't need to go download another gambling website, and they can
Yeah,
start dabbling in it. You
that's
already
why I
have the
did.
users.
Mm-hmm.
Cause let's be honest
Mm-hmm.
though, like I don't know if you ever bet on sports, but like I mean,
People
I've
don't.
got some places, or I'll go to the casino or something occasionally, and I'll throw down on some sports. I don't ever see myself legitimately like gambling on sports on DraftKings, because if I wanted to bet on sports, there's unless it's different. I went and looked at it the last time, and it was, I don't know. I feel like me personally, but I've been betting on sports for almost 20 years, so it's a little bit different. Like I'll go through a real sports book, and get the better odds and all that. But for your average user, they're now you just put a sports book in the palm of their hands, right? And so
Right.
and they already have that daily fantasy sport user base on there. So and
This is why.
and all the casino shit they have going with like
This
you can
is
go on there
why.
and play slots and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I don't even consider that a swing trade. I consider that an investment, bro. like for me, I'm like, I'm holding on to those. I told you that's my fourth biggest position in my portfolio,
See, my
DraftKings, and
my
I've
problem
trimmed a little
is,
bit.
and I gotta, it's my, I just maybe I gotta add what I probably should do now. Maybe once I hop off this stream, I'm gonna open up because I have I have two accounts, right? I have an investment account that I don't look
Right,
at. I got shit in there and I don't look at it. And then I have
right.
my trading account, because if it was all in one account, then it's like I'd be trying to
It's foggy.
make room for a new short term play, and I'd be selling my long term stuff. So the more we're talking about this, I probably need to go add some DraftKings into my long term one. You know what I mean? Because everything I do in my short term account and what I talk about on this show and everything is all swing trades. Invest short term, not short term investments, but stuff we can make money off in the next 2 months, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. It's not like my other ones. Shit, I
Yeah,
got stocks in there I've had in there for 7 years. You know what I mean?
right. For sure. I think definitely got to, switch up the portfolios with the. I made that mistake early on, where like you end up shaving things that you never thought you should have or could have or would have for something else to make some room, and then maybe that play doesn't really make out like a bandit like you thought, and then the other one just took off where you're like, damn, Amazon did what? I made that mistake. I sold 25% of my Amazon this year, and granted, if I look at what I sold it for, I think it was like 35. I mean, it was pretty much at its peak. But I said, what are you doing? I didn't need to sell any of that. I could have kept that for long haul forever. I mean, I think that one day they're going to announce a stock split. I think they're going to do that one day, Coach. They're going to
Oh,
announce a stock split one day. It'll be crazy, crazy, crazy Amazon,
yep.
because they've never
I,
done one.
well, I
They've
mean,
never
and
done
it's
one.
kind of like we were just talking about with the trade desk or anybody else. Like all those stock splits do is they make it more affordable. Like how many people would like to buy
Right.
Amazon right now, but they look at that
Yeah.
share price and they're like, ah, man, And even though if you would have bought it last year, you'd be up huge right now. If you would have bought it 2 years ago, but every year everyone looks at it and they're like, Ah, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. When you do that split, now you're talking about what is Amazon trading at right now? Like two grand or something?
Nah, dude, like 3,300 or some shit.
3,300. So you do the stock split like a 10-to-1 split. Shit, you're still looking at 330 a share. But even that's more affordable, right, for people to get in.
I'm telling
Um,
you. And remember those people that do the fractional shares and shit too, you know? So now you're getting way more on the fraction. It's just subliminal. It's a subliminal effect because it's the same market cap, right? It's the same
yeah,
cost, and
nothing's
it's not
different. You know, the
discount.
stock's going to go up 10%. It's up 10%. No matter what you paid for it, you made 10%. But it makes it even just the entry price, right? Because like I don't know, not everyone does fractional shares, right? So you have
Right.
to like with TD Ameritrade, I have to buy a full share. So if I don't have 3,400 laying around, I can't even get into Amazon. you know?
100%, dude. 100%. I think stock splits are attractive for that one reason. I think like you really are in the news, you're in the limelight, you're talking about what you're doing. And let's face facts, Apple's done it how many times? It's insane. When Tesla announced it, I couldn't believe what I was watching with my eyes. I was losing my shit. Watching that shit hit 1,500 was crazy, let alone 1,000. And then they hit the stock split, and we're talking about 3,000, 4,000. Like what?
Yeah.
That was crazy. When he was about to hit a trillion. I mean, I was like, are you serious? This is
That's,
pretty nuts.
yeah.
And I believe in Tesla more than a lot of people do, man. There's a lot of haters out there. A lot of people don't really understand the mechanisms and how they're gonna this, that, the other. Dude, you can spend $100 a month extra right now on a Tesla just to let it drive itself when you dropped that this year, like a month ago. Subscription. Now you can pay monthly from all these millions of cars you sold on the road.
I got to
It's
you
just
I know you said you have two Teslas, right?
I do.
Yeah. Just out of
I do.
curiosity, because I mean, I don't own any electric vehicles or nothing, but at some point I'd love to get into it. Like how far can you drive on a full charge, or how's that work?
So okay, so it depends, right? So on my Model 3, I never push the limits on it. I've never had any place to drive far with this. I'm going to and from, at the time it was my main HUD, which was like 5 miles away from my house. I'm not even the perfect candidate to have electric vehicles because I don't drive at all. Like I drive very minimal. But with the Model 3, I think my range is, I want to say like 325. It's the performance one, so it's got a dual motor, so it's a lot quicker, a lot more powerful, like 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds type. Fastest car I've ever driven personally. Um, but you probably get like 300 miles. I think if you're smashing and you're doing some fun shit, maybe like 250, 275 even, right? My Model X is the family car that I have driven places. And I'll tell you right now what, you ever heard of Big Bear?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Big Bear Lake? So I've driven from my spot to Big Bear. And what I'm going to do right now is see how many miles it is from my house because I make it there and back with just an overnight outlet charger, mind you. Overnight outlet charger to a normal outlet
That's just
because most of the places
plugging
that,
it into the wall or something. You're not going to a charging station,
yeah,
nothing like that. Okay.
no charger station because so we like to Airbnb a lot in Big Bear for like Christmas and stuff like that. I like to do that. So it's super fun for fam, right? So I drive from my spot to Big Bear, and a lot of times they don't have an actual charger there for me. So I'm plugging up to an outlet, like a normal wall outlet for real. And
Okay.
it charges so slow. Like I might get like 5 miles a night, if that. So I end up getting like maybe 15 miles, you know what I mean, from maybe a weekend getaway, or maybe 30 miles extra from a week getaway. But the funniest thing is I'm the one who's driving to the grocery store, grabbing some this, grabbing some that. We're still maneuvering, right?
Yeah.
So it's difficult to really like say I'm adding any miles in the trip. Big Bear from where I am, my fault. Let me see directions to Big Bear from where I am now. It's saying 125 miles or so,
So
give or take.
that's like a 2 hour drive, two and a half hour
250.
drive.
Yeah, it's about a 2.5. It's about a yeah, it's about a 2 hour drive, 2:20, two
Okay.
hour 20 minutes, and we're talking there and back with I can't even consider it a charge,
Yeah, because you're just plugging in the wall charger or whatever like
and
that.
I'm
Okay.
using most of those
See,
miles, right? You know what I mean? While I'm out there. Go ahead. My fault.
no, it's all good. You were just starting to break up. I didn't hear what you said, but I mean, I could see myself doing that thing because I'm kind of the same way. I only commute around my, I work in the same city I live in. I don't really drive very many places, and when I do, we go to like Santa Clara to go watch the Niners play. We might Lake Tahoe
Yep.
or Reno's like 3 hours away, and you could charge when you get somewhere like that. So any of that
Yeah.
stuff, I mean,
Yeah,
what
for
about
sure.
what about driving down to you, like SoCal? Is that you think would it be able to make it 6 hours or you'd have to stop somewhere and charge?
I think you'd have to stop to charge probably once through that because I know right now to get to Vegas and back, which is like a 5 hour drive, you got to stop once. You got to
Yeah.
stop once. But that's the thing, like I got Netflix in my car. I got YouTube's in my car. Like it comes with it, so it's like it's not like it's that crazy. And the superchargers that are opening up, there's more and more opening up. I think that's a lot of money Tesla will make off of their supercharging network once they can get this shit up to par. Because in my opinion, they're producing way too many cars compared to their superchargers right now, and it's a problem. Like there's lines to charge at some of these when I pass them. And so when he gets that going, he's going to make some extra revenue on that as well. But it's 20 minutes. And when you put it in your car, it starts to heat the battery up and prep it perfectly for when you pull up and you start plugging in charging for that juice to go up pretty quick. I mean, in 5 minutes, you can get a good 40, 50 miles, dude.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
not bad.
filling a tank of gas. It's like you put $5 in your tank, back in the day. It's no difference. You know what I mean? 20 minutes, you get around 60, 70, 80% in some cases. So it's not that bad.
So Fluffer said some institutional buys today. Let me pull that up.
He's looking at cup and handle on CLOV, by the way. TSS.
All right, I'll pull that up in a second too. So yeah, it looks like J.P. Morgan Chase. Wasn't J.P. Morgan one of the ones that were downgrading, or no?
I said it yesterday.
They're just
Yeah.
trying to get cheaper stock. So
That's
J.P.
exactly
Morgan
what I
goes long, 50,000 calls, 25,000 shares.
calls.
Um,
More calls. What date did they purchase those? Does it show?
we'd have to check that. I mean, it's showing up today. I don't know if that means they or
That
they.
doesn't necessarily mean they bought it today, though, right?
No, it doesn't mean they bought it today.
Right.
Um,
I bet you the day they gave that downgrade, which was 7/12, which is a day that I predicted would be green, fails to deliver. Everything was intertwined. That's why JPM put out the neutral to underweight. How do you even all on July 12th, a month before their earnings, make it underweight from neutral as is? And then you sit there and you see what their value, their revenue was. Come on, man, that's so funny to me, man.
yeah. So
So
target
obvious.
short seller. I know when I was looking that up, you said a cup and handle on what the minute, 5 minute. What are we looking at? I mean, you can kind of see it
I was
right here on the 5 minute too. I'm gonna pull up a 1 minute though, just to see if it looks a little kind of like. I guess it looks better on the 5, but yeah, talking about from here to here, and then we got the handle forming right here.
yeah. Mm-hmm. This is actually looking really good today. This is looking really good, man. I think 9 now. I think as soon as we drop under 9, I keep seeing it just getting popped right back up. Split second later.
Yeah, well, nine's that big one. I mean, if you look at, let me see, I haven't even looked at
Calls
the
are
option chain today, but at least not since earlier this morning when we were like at 5 a.m. But if we look at the option chain right now at 9, shit, there was 30,000 volume today too. So who knows how many new calls came in? 30,000, a lot of puts though too. It looks like a lot of people buying a lot of volume at $9 on puts for this week as well. So, but I mean, look at the volume at the $10 strike. There's a ton of volume at the 9.50 strike. Yeah, Yeah, just right in here in this wheelhouse, man. At any point, but we got to hold above 9. We really do. I'd love to
Yeah,
see us close above 9 today. Um, let's
this
see.
is more steady than I thought it would be today. I thought it would be violent today. Ups, downs, ups, downs. It's really not that. With the amount of volume they have, like you can almost see they're kind of hitting it with their day trading stops and losses. That you can just kind of see the pockets that are coming in
Yep.
when they're buying, when they're selling.
So someone else is asking about Ghost social media. So he is on Reddit. It's Ghost underscore AF. And then what's your username on Discord? If anyone wanted to follow you on there.
Same,
Okay.
Sam. I think I did everything the same. I
Yeah.
didn't have it like that at first, and I was like, man, let me make sure everyone knows it's the same person because it's all wild. But yeah, it should be the same. I'm curious to see. I told Tarheels last night. I said I think Credit Suisse, man. I think they're gonna do an upgrade soon. I think they're gonna do an upgrade soon. They had
And
us at neutral May 19th. Last time they hit us up was May 19th. I think they're gonna give us a. I think we're gonna get an upgrade here, man, from one of these banks, man. I think it's gonna be just the way they were asking the questions. I just kind of have that feeling of like, yeah, they were impressed too. You know.
yeah. No, absolutely.
I want to
It's
talk about something.
go ahead.
I just thought of. I want to talk about something. I just thought of something. A lot of people were talking about like DOJ, SEC investigation, and what have you, right? And what I read from everything on Clove, how they answered the Hindenburg research's attack, the things they were saying was like this is normal in the medical field, right? Especially we didn't go the traditional IPO route, we went the SPAC route, right? And the actual, it wasn't necessarily an investigation. Like nothing was subpoenaed. They just requested documents and we sent them in. So to be accused of this is kind of crazy, right? That's the way they kind of painted the picture to us. And I hear a lot of people saying a catalyst when the investigation's over. Man, Tesla was getting investigated by the DOJ and the SEC back in 2018. You can Google it right now, but you
Yeah.
can't even find out how it ended. Like there was like a couple million here, a couple million there. Like I don't think there's ever going to be like this big day of like, let's, our investigation is done, yay, because they're not really being investigated.
Yeah.
So like when I see that SEC, DOJ, and Clove in the same talk, it's like, dude, like I think that's just no news is good news. You know, the longer you're going with no news being good news, you know, it's. I don't think that'll ever kind of go away, huh? Or am I wrong? I mean,
Yeah, I forget who was talking about it too. It might have even been you on Tar Heel. Someone was talking about this on Tar Heel's show the other day, and they were basically saying that it's not even an investigation; it's an inquiry. And it all stems from the Hindenburg bullshit from way back, and it's like here they're basically making accusations, so obviously there's going to be an inquiry into it. But if they don't find anything, then they're never going to pursue anything,
this is
right?
where I'm confused. But hold on, this is where it doesn't make sense. Hindenburg Research dropped the article, right?
Yep.
But in the article they dropped, they said that they lied and misled investors by not telling them that the DOJ, and the SEC are investigating them. So how is it because of the Hindenburg research that that's the misconception? I think this was just a typical inquiry because they didn't go the IPO route and they got to check the books. I think the United Health, and I could be wrong on this, but I did due diligence back in the day on this, where I think the person that was in the law portion of United Health is on our team, and I'm drawing a blank on the name, and I'm gonna have to pull it up because it's gonna drive me nuts. But the person responding to that segment was like, I worked for UNH for years. This is what I did at UNH. I mean, this is very typical for a corporation to go through this. Yes, there you go. Great. Who said that? Gonks.
Gangsta Killer, and I think that's a good, basically, they never really began it.
Perfect way to
That's what you
stop
were
that.
saying too. They never really began an investigation, so there's nothing to really celebrate. There's no big announcement that nothing's happening. It's just a reason for, and DraftKings actually is going through that a little bit too right now with the same shit. Like, where Hindenburg basically came out and said that they were involved in like some money laundering or illegal gambling or some shit like that. And DraftKings
Yeah.
immediately came out and said that they weren't part of it immediately, like literally the next day. And then but then the damage is already done, the stock already goes down, and then what ends up happening? Then they go get people to file lawsuits on behalf of the investors because we lost our money because you were doing this shady stuff. Well, they weren't even doing nothing shady. There was no evidence behind it. But sometimes all it takes is that tweet or that little short report or whatever, and that's what drives the stock down, right?
100%. It's obvious. It's obvious. I mean, even if they found something, which let's be honest, they might. I mean, it's not like they won't find anything on the inquiry. They did an inquiry. They're going to check out some things, but the even the end results, if they have to pay 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, it really doesn't even matter. It's so irrelevant. It's not like they're going to get shut down for doing something that outlandish. And so it's like there's really no need to even worry about it. It's like people were like, are they going to talk about it during the earnings call? No. For what? They're never going to talk about it again. Unless it's something that gets brought up, they're never going to talk about it again. I don't think that's a catalyst moving forward, but I think it's something that eventually people will think, because if you haven't invested into a company that's happened to before, an inquiry on specifics, you would get so petrified if you've never seen it before, and then you're constantly waiting for this news. Like I'm telling you, with Tesla, I was waiting for this news, and like I never got it. Never got the news. It was just like kind of like fizzled out. And it's like even at one point I looked it up. Are they still getting investigated? Like, what's the end result? This company Clover is making moves in Florida for Value H. This company Clover is expanding. Clearly, it ain't that big of a deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh,
I know what co-creator's getting at. He said coach needs more coffee, but it's not. I did just finish my cup too, but it's not because of that. It's because they know when I leave the room, we might see a turnaround.
Stock's going up as soon as you. That's great.
Lisa says I see
Co-creators
Citadel
are
with
everywhere, man.
266 shares in the top fund positions. Um,
Check your cell phone too. Co-creator said he texted you.
all right, let me see what's up.
This person said, I bought Clove because of the response to the Hindenburg report. It was a beautiful piece, man. I posted that link in one of the DDs I wrote on Clove. The way Ross, I agree, man. The way they put together that line by line and just was just like, wow, impressive.
Yeah, I
I
don't
bought
see
more
the
DraftKings after the bad news, yes.
I don't see the Citadel thing. I don't know if I'm missing it or what. That Lisa posted. Lisa, where'd you see that at? I'm checking Fintel right now. Looks like AMC's getting ready to pop.
I can't even talk about what I want to do to AMC.
Yeah.
So much mixed emotions with AMC, and a lot of people are always like, you got to post in this Wall Street bets and da 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 da. I'm like, dude, why? Like, it should never be like them or us or against them or trying to convince them to come over here. Like, dude, let this shit organically manifest. It will happen. I want them to do good, man. To be honest with you, I want them to blow up, just like I want GameStop to rebound. I want every single one. Wish. I know there's a lot of bag holders in Wish right now, which I bought Wish when it came out. I made a decent little penny, you know, right? And I'm like, babe, Wish is dope, dude. This is gonna be such a good one to have, man. And she's like, Wish product sucks. There's so many memes about this is what they bought. It's like this bombshell on the left, and then on the right, this frumpy dress, and then you're just like, I just started cracking up, bro. I said, it's that bad? She's like, oh my god, it's that bad. And so when I heard that, I was like, so I'm not even gonna swing trade you anymore. And this was when the day it came out. Like literally, I think I wrote it for 3 days, if that. And instantly I think it went down at first. It went up a little bit, and then I cashed out. Maybe made like 2%, if that. But it was funny to see if your product is that trash. I don't care how good your e-commerce chain is. It's not gonna last, man. Until they figure it out, it's not gonna last. How we looking on this chart? Break this down. That looks like a cup and handle, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's
That's
starting to look good. I was looking up what Lisa was talking about while you were talking, but yeah, that we got a little cup and handle forming. We need to get back above VWAP. You know what I mean? We need to, if we can bust through here, and if we start trending upwards, man, 10 would be amazing. So it looks like what Lisa was talking about was on here. This is the list of share increases, and then also who owns shares in the company. And I think Citadel, yeah, so they own 266. Um, but
where's
a
this
lot of
from?
this is from TRADYTICS. It's a really cool software, man. They got so many different tabs with all these different things, but this is basically another way of looking at like what funds are in each stock and everything. And you can see Green Oaks, obviously 96 million. Bailey Gifford just bought these 5 million. I think it got reported a couple weeks ago. BlackRock,
Don't you think it's odd that they'll never tell us like real time?
yeah.
Like, don't you just think it's such a disadvantage to not know real time certain events? I find it so funny. That's why like you have to have conviction in what you hold, man.
Hmm.
For that reason right there. It's like you never get a chance to really see some of the stuff in live time, but you get that affirmation when you see someone like BlackRock. They got a lot of good, they're in a lot of good stock. You know what I mean? You start to see things like this. Um, who else do we have? Charles
I'm
Schwab.
pulling this one up real quick because someone just asked for Vortex now, just because. So 4 million shares borrowed difference today, net difference. So that's probably a lot of the short pressure we've been seeing. So we know a lot of these shorts are entering in around $9, around this area, which is going to equate to a 10% interest change tomorrow. That actually could get, so that would put us back to that 31% range. Shares on loan back in the 40s. What's cost to borrow? Nothing, no real big changes there so far. All right, sorry. Someone had asked, and I figured we might as well throw it up there. And
No, no, no. Please, I need to hear that too. You good?
but I mean,
I want to address a couple and say what's up on the chat, just so that they don't feel like we leaving them hanging too much today, man.
yep,
I know it's new to me, guys, so I'm not keeping up just quite yet, but I will.
yeah. It's hard, man. Like the chat. At least on my end, I have this way to like star them so I can go back to them. But even with that, like the chat just moves so damn fast sometimes that it's like, you know, um,
Don't keep up for real.
yeah. But I appreciate everybody coming in here too. I mean, this is probably the most people. I think earlier I had like 300 on, but 200. We've had pretty much consistently 200 this whole time. And I mean, shit, I've been streaming for almost 4 hours now.
Love it.
So um, I
You've
appreciate
been on for
everyone
four
coming in
hours,
here.
bro?
Was that?
I said you've been on for 4 hours. Damn,
Yeah,
that's
so
a
I
long
mean,
time.
normally I start every day at like 6, right? I'll get up early, kind of do some research, look around, kind of set up what I want to buy for the day, everything, and then jump on at 6. And I usually go like 6 to 8, so 2 hours. But I don't know, man. Today we were moving in pre-market. It was I'm up here,
Exhilarating.
I'm up, bro, and I'm just watching this thing move. And then on Discord, everybody was all getting fired up on Twitter, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna jump on early. So I ended up starting the stream at 5 in the morning this morning. And I've been
So,
going pretty much nonstop, man. I mean it's 9:15 now. I got the two breaks when you were in, and then I when Tarheel had jumped on for about 5 minutes earlier. Way earlier, like before the bell or right at the bell. But yeah. That's it really. I just been chilling, but I think Tarheel said he's gonna stream later on at some point. He's gonna stream that
Yeah, he was
that
saying,
tech call.
well, yeah, that at 12 o'clock or whatnot. The what is it? The
It's
what is
a
it? Bank card.
technology forum. I forget who it is, but KeyBank or something. It's like the KeyBank or something technology forum. But Clove's going to be speaking. But I mean, shit, I don't think they're the only speaker, so that might be kind of weird in itself too. Like I was asking him, like, hey, so how do you know? What if there's all these other people? Are you going to sit? And he's like, nah, we'll just turn the volume down and then jump in during when it. And I'm interested to see what
Yeah,
Clove has to say there too, because that could provide another big catalyst as well, right? I mean, what if they're withholding a little bit of information to reveal it at this thing? Because they scheduled that or announced that shortly after they announced that they were doing the earnings on Wednesday, which got moved in. You know what I mean? So they might have been saving something for that too. We had some good news drop on Tuesday. Earnings were
I
good
think
yesterday, and now if tomorrow or if today we get some more good news, man, they should really be the nail in the coffin.
I'll be honest with you. I think that there's been so many strategies deployed from this team. It's disturbing. Like one thing I was trying to bring up about earnings, where there were so many people like they didn't move up earnings, dude. They just built it. It's easy. The CFO's leaving on the 13th, so they had to bring him in and it's like, dude, why didn't they just let the CFO leave on the 16th after the earnings call? Why would you move your earnings? It wasn't moved. It wasn't moved. And it's like, all right, I get it. There's a lot of mixed emotions about if it was moved, if it wasn't moved. But the bottom line is they chose this particular day, a Wednesday. You don't think they've watched their company get ladder attacked on Thursdays and Fridays for one? You don't think they've seen with their own naked eyes their company get attacked every single Thursday and Friday? You don't think they've seen that? So why not move the call up to Wednesday knowing you can go over this information? You can't talk about all these things prior to earnings. So maybe they already knew this conference call, this virtual call, whatever it's called. What is it? A virtual technology call, whatever it is from KeyBank. They already knew the date. Maybe they did want to bring it below. That way, just in case they get ladder attacks on their Thursday, they could have this to reopen them up on the Friday after bell. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
there's so many strategic plays by this team. There's no way around it to think that there's not on purpose. I would not be surprised if they dropped a bomb on what they got going on from the
To
tech side that we haven't heard yet.
Yeah. No, I'm excited, man. I really am. Someone says, is it possible that these prior short positions, banks and mutual funds, i.e., J.P. Morgan, would encourage a short and distort report from people like Hindenburg to then buy in long at a later time, like now? Absolutely. I mean, that's what they do, right? They want to crush a stock down so that they can get in cheaper. I mean, I forget who it was, and I brought this up in the past that there was like someone got in trouble for this too, and a lot of times they don't. They just get a slap on the wrist. But these big funds and people who have access to the media, they do shit like that all the time. They'll have someone go on CNBC and tell you, how they think. God, I don't know, a certain stock. This stock's going to zero. Blah blah blah. And they'll talk about how they're going to short it, which should be illegal in market manipulation as it is, anyways, right? Because they've already got their short position pegged. So now they're putting that information out there so that you'll go in and short it, or if you own it, you'll sell it. They want to drive the stock down. So now they're profiting on the way down. And then guess what they do? As soon as that stock drops, they turn around and open up a long position on it, and then 2 weeks later they'll be out there talking about how because of some new report or fundamentals they're going long on this stock. They're just getting the optimal entry points and exit points all the way around, and that's what they do. So like a JP Morgan, um absolutely, they're going to encourage people to drive the stock price down, tank it, and then they're coming in and buying up at these $8 floor. That's them getting in. Now they got the best entry price.
Can someone find on the 12th of July when JP reduced their grade, they're downgraded them from neutral to underweight? Okay. If they bought those shares then, can we find that out?
Oh,
Because
like the
that
the actual day.
like
I
the day after it would have been the 12th, I believe, was a 12th, had to be a Monday, right? I mean, what am I? That
Yeah.
was one of the, yeah, it had to be a Monday. 12th of July was a, had to be. Yeah, of course. So yeah, so okay. So I want to know when they got these shares. Like how much after that? what can they possibly say that was developing? In other words, right? Like, what could they have said that was developing? Right? They
Yeah.
just put a hit piece out on it to downgrade the stock from an analyst, not just someone that works there, an analyst. And now they own shares. How long ago did they buy these?
That's
What
I'm
came
looking
around the
right
corner?
now. It says August 12th,
They
JP Morgan Chase has filed a 13F disclosing ownership of 25,000 shares, valued at 346 as of June 30th. Previous filed 13H on May 12th disclosing 0 shares. So it doesn't
June
say.
30th they purchased.
It's saying as of June 30th. So this filing is
Oh, that's the
just
reporting
so
date.
as of June 30th that's how many they have.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah.
So we got to find that out. I'm curious. It's still as of June 30th, which means it still is before they talked about the 12th of July. So I
Yeah.
wonder if that's outdated. I mean, we might even find out news that's going to show that they did own shares beyond the 12th of July. I'm remembering that date, and I want to know if when they bought shares after the 12th of July, because to me it's obvious. They're definitely lowering the costs for personal gains. I mean, come on, man. If you had the power to do so, would you not?
Yeah. I mean that's absolutely. Um, Real quick, so I know I've seen this question came up twice, so I wanna pull this up. But first off, Pablo says I think we're gonna have a crazy after hours today. I agree with that. Kind of like following suit with what we did yesterday. So I had this question, and I want to just address it because I saw it asked twice. So, holistic Judith says, can you please explain how the option chains affect the share price in advance? So basically, I'll try to give you the brief rundown of this. Where'd my options chain go? I think I lost it. I got too many windows open over here. There we go. So when you look at an options chain, basically, like I'll even leave it here while we talk about it. So you have people that sell call options, right? But they don't own the underlying shares. So if the options expire in the money, they now have to sell 100 shares. They're contractually obligated to sell 100 shares to the buyer of that contract. So what a lot of them do is, especially like the bigger institutions, the market makers, they'll sell call contracts even though they don't own the underlying shares. But now they have these algorithms that'll go in and basically hedge to make sure that they don't get caught, slipping, so to speak. Like basically, if I sold you a call contract for the $20 strike and I'm like, shit, that's never going to hit. Ghost just bought this call contract. I might not own any shares. But now as the stock price rises, I need to slowly start buying these shares up because if it gets over 20, I got to sell Ghost 100 shares at $20 a piece. So I want to make sure that I bought those shares for under 20, if that makes sense. So basically this delta is what we're looking at is kind of how those algorithms, basically dictate how many they need to own. So again, if I sold Ghost this $19 strike, my delta's only one. So that's telling me I only need to own one share for that contract that I sold them. Now, as the price goes up, you see some of these that are closer to the money, like the $9, the delta's 0.56. The 850, the delta's 0.77. So as the stock price goes up, basically what's happening is these algorithms have to continuously buy shares to hedge in case it ends up going within the strike price. But then what ends up happening? All that buying is driving the price up. So it's like a never ending chain, right? Like because the stock price is going up, the algorithms need to buy more shares to cover the options chain, but buying more shares continuously makes the stock price goes up, and that's basically what a gamma squeeze is. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think another good way to think of it is you either have an opportunity where you're as the person who's I think the basics of calls is what people kind of get stumped on. You're buying a call, you're basically stating that you're gonna buy all 100 of these calls on your if it hits its strike. That's your option to do so.
Yeah.
And so if there's the case it hits that strike, the market maker has to buy some physical form of shares to an extent, just in case, right? And they'll make money on the way up, and then they're giving them to you for your strike price. So there's like you said, that never-ending belt per se just continues to kind of push the stock and affect it. The bottom line is if we hit strike prices of like 9, 10, 11, $12, you got to understand how many people are going to execute, how many hundreds of shares they're going to be buying for each one of those calls, and how much flex that puts on the actual, cost per share itself. That this, we would get that gamma squeeze. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, no, that pretty much sums it up for sure. I mean, that's basically what we'd be looking at is, the higher it goes, it's just gonna keep forcing it up. But it also works in reverse too, right? So with max pain being 8, if they could drop this stock down to 9 and below 9, and then below 850, you're going to start seeing an opposite effect. The algorithms will start unhedging and start selling off shares, and they can,
Worst
I,
thing that
if they can get this stock down from a short seller's perspective, if they could have earlier, you saw this attack. If they could have got this stock down below 850, down to 825, down to 810, we would have saw all of a sudden the option chain unhedging, and we probably would have dropped to 750 just based off that. I mean, obviously we had buying support that came in and held this up, and we still do. But that's always a factor too when you have these gamma squeeze setups. Is that it can go in the opposite direction.
I think that's what we were kind of dealing with. That's the whole suppressing the stock situation. Is you got so many calls expiring, worthless. So much money to be made on that too. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
like I've seen calls just flat out disintegrate before my eyes. And I remember the first call that ever happened to me on. I was like, damn, so that's it? It's just gone?
It's over.
That's it? Like, I can't buy it still? Oh, you want to buy it at 15 when the stock is $8? I mean, kind of shit. I don't want to lose any of my money, Like,
Yep.
you learn the hard way, man, for sure. Tech call, I think it's at 2, yeah. It might even
Let me see.
AMC and GME is popping up. It's popping off. I
Yeah,
think it's at
yeah.
2
So
o'clock.
like, if you look, I got them. They're hella small over here, but we got. I mean, GameStop did hit a low of 157 today, but it's above VWAP. It's at 161. It's up almost 2% on the day, and then AMC um, earlier hit a low at 30, almost 31 ish, and it's at 32.53, up almost 3% on the day. So they're both at like all time highs or getting there for the day. Not all time highs, but highs of the day. I think GameStop still has a little bit more to go. It's got to get past this, about to 163. But AMC, I mean, I can see that breaking out right now. It just went down, it's coming back up. Uh, and I think all that
I
shit
mean,
helps too.
their earnings were a lot higher than a lot of people expected too. So that kind of makes sense. There's the people that purchase on the way to earnings. You always see a little bit of a rise, and then you see a drop off after earnings, and then it usually coils up and takes off. It's very rare, and I don't know how many people in here have not seen this or kind of put two and two together. It is extremely rare to see a stock go up after earnings, and I mean extremely rare. Like the majority of the time, you see a drop off, and it's momentum and swing traders, in my opinion, that are all kind of purchasing on the way up. Company blows the earnings out of the park, and you're like, what? And it drops a little bit. Besides like blue chips and like fangs, like Amazons and Apples, and a lot of times they fall off after earnings,
Yeah.
5%, 2 to 5%, sometimes 10,
Well,
before they
then
flex back up.
and then you also have that like earnings crush too, right? Like IV crush. I don't know if you've ever witnessed that. Like I rarely will
Yeah.
hold calls into earnings. You always want to sell them like right before the earnings
The day
because
of, like a day before.
yeah, because the IV, the implied volatility will just kill you. Like all of a sudden the IV drops, even if the stock price is going up. So many other people are dumping their calls that your IV it just diminishes the what your
Yep.
contract's worth. I got a question for you. So you said because I know AMC did beat on earnings, right? Um So like, what's your thoughts?
On
Not to put
AMC.
you on the spot, yeah, but what I mean, because it's like to me, they beat on earnings, but you beat earnings from what last year when the theater was closed. I mean, you know what I mean. I don't know. That's the way I see it. It's just,
I think I think it's more they didn't just like beat their year over year in a sense. I think it was more like just more shocking that that many. You know, again, we're in Cali, Coach. The movie theaters were closed for how long around you?
yeah. I mean, we just went to the theaters for the first time. I think about a week or two ago, and yeah, they were closed for the longest time. I mean, you
And
could
then
go
that's
in,
California.
yeah.
There were other states that were open still. You know what I mean? Like Florida, they've had their theaters open for some time, I believe. What else we got? We got I, so I guess where I'm going with this is like people always say that movies are a dying trend and no way are there going to still be people in the movies, and with streaming services there's no way. And I'll tell you one thing, they're not going to be able to overcharge you for the popcorn and the drinks and the this and the that anymore because it was getting to be out of hand, you know. So I
Yeah.
don't think that they'll expire, like these AMC is going to go away and just die out in 10, 15 years. I think no, I think it's an experience that people will still enjoy. So I wouldn't invest in the personally like as a long haul investment more like than I would with GameStop. Like I would invest more long haul in a GameStop versus an AMC, to be quite honest with you. That's my outlook on it. Remember, I'm more of like the investor side of it. Do I think there's some opportunities to trade in AMC? Yeah, I've done it. I've actually swing traded them a few times. I got rid of them a little bit too soon when they had their run up to 72, unfortunately. But I did make a little bit of money on it. Like it was cool, you know. Not. I'm not gonna lose sleep over what I could have made, you know. But I just personally don't know that they're gonna continue to grow like this. It's just one of those volatile, this like volatility for no reason to me. It's like why even waste my time with that kind of investment personally. But there's some believers out there that really genuinely believe supply and demand chain. They are the float. You can chant "We are the float" all you want, but the if AMC just keeps rinsing and diluting and giving more shares available, it's like I saw that there's the amount that they keep diluting for 2 consecutive quarters. I read somewhere was the amount of what it costs to keep their shit, back rent and keep their rent being paid. So who knows, what the real details are. I have not done enough due diligence on AMC to take the bait and buy and hold like the retarded apes, as you will. You know what I mean? I not with AMC. I could never buy and hold an AMC stock. I can see swing trading here and there.
Yeah, no,
You know,
I kind of, I guess I'm kind of looking at it the same way. It's like I've traded in both too, and I still own some GameStop because I see it, whatever. But like with AMC, it's like, yeah, I think it's still shit. I was just saying to someone else the other day, I think it was probably gonna run up and break 100 at some point. Like I'll be jumping in and out of it for sure, but when you look at it, and this is where it's like, okay, so as long as you go into it and this is a nothing but a squeeze play, right? Like you're getting into this stock, but you got to kind of understand that like they're never going to be trading at on fundamentals at wherever they're at right now with $32. It's just there's no way at all that
there's no
AMC will
logic.
ever be trading. I mean, unless they change their business model and they add on Clover Assistant or something. Not to be, but like something. There's got to be something else there because at the end of the day, if you're just if you're just a movie theater that sells popcorn and candy and all that kind of shit, it's like
I mean, no, they have an app where they do some streaming. I believe. I believe they do have some level of streaming.
because
But
if
I
you
think
look,
you're right. It's too much. It's too many streaming opportunities now. You got Disney. You got Amazon Prime.
well,
It's
not
just too
only
spread out
that,
now. Roku.
even if you just said like take all that shit out of the equation, streaming and everything, and you just said, hey, what was their? I'm trying to find like what was their highest market cap ever, like AMC market cap by year, right?
I think it was. I think it was. I think it was like shit. I want to say
There we go. Right here. I just pulled it
1.8
up. So in
mil.
2016, they were at 3.7 billion market cap. So right now, this company is trading at 12, what, 4 or 5, more than 5 times its highest ever market cap right now. So has there been, since 2016, has there been anything different to make this company worth 5 times more than what it is in 2016? No, they in the last 5 years, they almost went bankrupt. They were losing money. They're still in debt. In order for them to be worth 5 times what they were at in 2016 in their heyday at their very greatest. I mean, do they own 5 times as many theaters now? Like what's making them 5 times more profitable? Has the business model changed? I mean, it just, that's where I'm saying, like, okay, so now if you look at it, if all of a sudden AMC falls down just to their greatest market cap ever, when they were like doing the greatest in 2016, that's dividing that by 5. So you're looking at AMC dropping down to $6 would be trading on fundamentals. And the only reason I bring it up is because, again, shit, I own some AMC calls right now. I'm looking for it as a swing trade and looking for it to explode so I could make some money off it. And I got other friends who are in it for like the squeeze, and they've been holding for a while. And I think that shit, they're still gonna see a day where they cross 100. But why are they getting excited about a fucking earnings call? Excuse my language. You know what I mean? Because at the same time, it's like,
Yeah,
if you're in this for the squeeze and you're telling me that you realize that this company's not worth a 16 billion market cap, then why do you care what the fundamentals are? Like, the earnings call, no matter what
I
they came out and said on their earnings,
no,
this company
it
ain't
was.
worth 16 billion.
I think it was. I think it was more or less that what the excitement about the earnings call was like. Revenue was a lot higher than they expected based upon the circumstances. I think that they exposed that they had a lot of cash on hand. I think that they exposed the simple fact that um, I don't know if it's like a different avenue, but like you said, there's some kind of streaming ability that they have an AMC app. I know there's streamings. I don't know if they're gonna do AMC originals or something like that. I mean, look, I grew up with an AMC Promenade. You know what I mean, next to me. I definitely love going to the movies. I think it's cool. I think there is something there as far as like if you believe in the way the Christians ran and you believe that they can make these adjustments, like you said, like maybe figure out some way to be more, streaming services on steroids, right? You got a big ass jump, or you get a certain network that you're able to kind of buy from this. So, something needs to happen as far as growth, and I think that could happen. If GameStop's growing and doing their things because of the retail investors that piled in and kind of had a lot of people stuck with their hands in a cookie jar. So I think AMC can ultimately do the same thing. I'll be honest with you. I just don't. I don't know enough, man, to feel conviction.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm
and
the
there's
investor. I'm
got to
more of an
be a
investor.
plan, right? And like you said, like,
Yeah, I want to
so
know what it is.
GameStop, they took some of that money that they sold, the shit, they raised $2 billion because of the squeeze, right? They were able to, and they didn't dilute the shit out of the stock either. I think they diluted the stock by 10%, not 400%. But besides that,
Exactly.
there has to be, um, you know, there has to be a plan. There's got to be something you're going to do with that money, and it can't just be making bigger movie theaters, because we've already seen that, like, movie theaters. Don't get me wrong, I love going to the movies. I take my kids all the time. We go to the theaters. We see damn near every movie that comes out in the theaters because it's a fun experience. But you can't. It was already a failing business model. I do think that AMC is going to grow a lot of support, and maybe a lot of other theaters are going to end up going under, because with all this attention, more people are going to, when they choose what theater to go to, are probably going to choose going to AMC. That's one way they're benefiting from this, right? But at the same time, the business has been failing since 2016, so there's got to be a change in there. There's got to be something different. And yeah, they have their network where they can stream stuff off there. Like someone just said in the chat, Walking Dead. I love Walking Dead, by the way, and everything else that they have going for them. But it's just, I don't know. They got to have something to pivot to, and it could be branching out and doing something different, besides just showing movies. The other thing, oh, okay. So Ghost just hit me up. He said he's gonna be right back. He's charging his screen real quick. So I'm gonna change this over. Oh, there we go. He just signed off. He's charged. His laptop started dying. Um, but yeah, I mean, I hope they don't go under. I want to see there be a movie theater here for always, and I do think that AMC's not going to go bankrupt. But it just scares me that shit. If they do start running out of money again, what are they going to do? They're going to turn around and dilute the stock even more. Um, all right, let me see. Where's the Ortex at? Someone just asked for Ortex. Faraz says, "Can you show me the Ortex data?" Yeah, I mean, we're seeing this reported short interest is just going up through the roof right now. 5 million shares borrowed, net difference in shares borrowed today. And what are we looking at? We started the day with 39 million, difference of 12% in the short interest. Cost to borrow hasn't changed from what we've been looking at earlier. Um, JW said they should turn their theaters into party space rentals. They actually do that. I went to one not too long ago. I don't know if it wasn't really a party, but you could this was during COVID too. You could rent out the theater privately. You could even bring in your own DVDs if you wanted to show your own movie instead of instead of watching what they were playing, and so that was pretty cool. And it wasn't too expensive either. I want to say we rented out the theater for like $200, and you could have up to 24 people in there. So, um, let's see. Thomas is saying every dollar increase has massive sell walls. Yeah, we're gonna see that too. The boss says, "Gotta love when Coach B pulls up stats." Yeah, it's just and I hope if you're talking about Ortex, I'm tired of looking at Ortex though. I really am. I mean, I'll do it if anybody wants to look at it, but it's like I feel like we've already proven, especially with out trades, he was showing that like you can't really trust the data anymore. And it's not necessarily anything negative about Ortex or iBorrowDesk or Fintel or anybody like that. They're just going off the data they're giving to them, but it just seems like you can't trust the data. Um, let me see here. I'm just gonna check out this options flow right now and see if we got any other bullish movement. We are trading like right around $9. It's kind of on that teetering point. We found some support there a couple times throughout the day, but we haven't been able to bust back through VWAP. We kind of need to get through here and start trending back up. If we zoom out, we did get hammered down, kind of double bottomish here, came up. I'd love to see us, rip back up and start getting above VWAP and really start moving. But holding 9 would be huge for today. It really would. Um, Let me see. Trying to check out this options flow and it's not pulling up. Did Adam Aaron say that AMC was partnering with GME? No. But if you only get your information from Twitter, you would believe so. So he said what he said was um something along the lines that we've got some very interesting suggestions from our shareholders, and you know one of them, of what we can do to, in the future. One of them was partnering with GameStop. That's what he said. He didn't say they've been looking into a partnership with GameStop. He didn't say that he was in contact with GameStop about a partnership. He said that one of his investors, the investor emails that he's been reading, where it could be anybody like me or you that owns one share of the stock, basically sending an email saying that they should partner with GameStop, and he felt the need to read that out loud. Why? To me, that almost seems kind of shady in itself. Like, what do you know what I mean? It just especially if you haven't had any conversations with the company or anything like that. It's almost like you're intentionally trying to pump the stock. That's my take on it, at least. And then they also talked about starting to bring in Bitcoin or accept Bitcoin as a payment offer. Obviously, they haven't done any looking into that, because if you were going to start accepting crypto, Bitcoin wouldn't be the type of crypto that you're going to do. So, I mean, you look on social media and there's a lot of people that got fired up about those two statements that he made, and there was really nothing behind them. There was no substance behind either statement that the dude made. So, um, I don't know, kind of weird. Max cost to borrow is up through the roof times five. Yeah, I mean eight is a lot, but it's still not. I mean, shit, we saw the cost to borrow up in like the hundreds back in June. So Justin says, will nine just break through and sell off on tomorrow morning's attack though? Need to put some space between nine. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%, Justin. I mean, but if you look at where we were at yesterday, right? We closed around, let's just say this 820 mark was yesterday's high. We get into after hours, get up to 917 and close pre-market or after hours yesterday at 890. So nice little 10% rip, I feel like. Maybe less, maybe like 5 or 6%. And then we open up this morning, shit, and we run up to, hit 10 in pre-market before basically getting pushed down to nine. So if we kind of play the game here and let's say trade sideways, maybe we close today around 920, 930, somewhere in this range. We still got after hours and pre-market tomorrow where we can continue to kind of roll up, and maybe tomorrow we're trading above 10 before the end of the day. But yeah, we are. I would imagine we're going to see some attacks, and really they want to get us under 8. Let's see here. Yeah, Snow Dog says, wait till you see their executive bonuses. Yep. Let's see. Pat M. Hey, coach, new sub. So I don't know if you've answered already, but what kind of profit percent do you aim for when flipping options around? That's a rough one. So, it really depends on the type of play, right? I mean, if I have a price target in mind, like for instance, this DraftKings play that I just got into a couple weeks ago, I had entered into DraftKings somewhere sub 50, like around 48, $49. But I bought long term options. Like I think I got some November calls and some February calls at the $65 strike. My intention on that play is to, kind of let this thing run up to $75. Now, so with that, I'm not even really, it's almost like owning shares to me at that point. I'm just going to let it roll, because at that point, if I end up getting deep in the money and this stock does go to 75, I'm looking more at, what it's going to be worth in the long haul, and maybe even exercising them. But I guess if I had to say, I would say, like, ultimately I like to buy my options in bulk, or like, maybe buy like 10 of them, right? And then if let's say I own 10, and then I get to a point to where maybe I could off like 2 or 3 of them, and that covers um my initial investment. Now the next 7 of them I'm riding even longer, and then try to scale them out on the way up, and let some ride even higher. But it really depends on the play and the type. I know there was one time at one point where basically once I got to, I think, above 50%, I would just put a trailing stop on it, no matter what my play was or anything. I'm playing options. I'm 50% profit. I'm putting a 10% trailing stop. That means I'm going to make 40% on this no matter what. And sometimes it'll run up to 100, 200%. Sometimes I just walk away with that 40%. And I know some people do that with as soon as they get to a 30% profit. So, all right, it looks like Ghost is back. Did you get charged up? You still there? What's up, man?
Nah,
You,
man, I'm
oh,
I'm using my cell phone, man. I don't know what happened, y'all.
uh,
One of y'all asked about the Tesla, so I kept the garage open a little bit so you could see, man. I had to put like paper over the plates, man, because I got a vanity plate. I don't want y'all finding the ghost, man. That ain't
uh,
so ghost after all.
let me put this
But I'm
bigger
back
just
on
so
a
they can
cell phone,
see.
man.
Oh yeah,
I
there's
can
the
see y'all
Tesla.
now.
You know
Just so
who it
you know, I
was?
ain't bullshitting.
It was Michael. He was just joking. I know Michael was just joking though, but it was
You
Michael
know
for
what
sure. I
though?
remember that.
I hate telling people shit if they can't see it because I preach to my family even. My I got three daughters, man. My daughters are everything to me, bro. I'll start crying if I talk too much about them. That's why I always talk shit. I love my girls, man. I'm blessed to have, I came from a broken home, man. So I'm blessed to have my family together. I try my ass off to make sure they understand that. I'll do whatever I can to, listen to them because they're girls. And I try to teach them the critical thinking skills in life because I believe they're going to live and learn. I'm trying to get them to learn a little bit before they live, but I'm also trying to limit their mistakes so that way if they make them, they're not so catastrophic on their household, on their livelihood because one bad decision can alter the outcome of your ultimate success in this world and the energy that you bring and give to it. So for me, I always preach, believe half of what you hear. I'm sorry, half of what you see and none of what you hear. Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. I always preach that to them. So sometimes I feel funny, especially because I'm not used to this whole digital world type of a, aspect of life, doing live streams and whatnot. So I try not to talk about specific things I have or whatnot if I can't prove, you know, I have that. You know what I mean? So I know there's probably a couple people out there that it's like, they always hit you with the proof. You tell them how many shares you got, they want to see proof. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's one of those things, man. I just wanted to let anybody knew if they thought I was bullshitting. I'm not. I promise I'm not. I ain't gonna lie to kick it. That's all. That's all. How y'all feeling though, man? I ain't gonna be able to see the chat like this, man. Not live. I hold up the.
This is Jimmy says Coach Ghost. Hey, how? Oh, it was Michael. It was Michael, I think. No, but I know Michael was just giving you a hard time. But Michael says I'm the same exact way with all my kids. Ghost. Um, yeah, I don't know if you said it or if I didn't catch it. How old did you say they were, or did you not? Just out of curiosity. Oh, Ghost went on mute. I think I wonder if he's having some issues. Yeah, he must be still having some issues on his thing. Let's see. Ghost, if you're still watching, if you get a figure, oh, there he goes. He's coming back in. Let's see.
I'm
All
gonna
right, you
let y'all
back
know
in?
right now. My phone blows up off the ridiculous line. It's not a joke. I got a lot of employees, man. I work with a lot of individuals. So if I lose y'all like that, it's going to be because of that. So I'm going to keep it 100, coach, man. It's been such a pleasure. I wish I could stay on here all day with you, to be quite honest with you. I'm just not sure I'm going to be able to with this phone. I got to let the MacBook charge a little bit before it'll turn on because apparently it wasn't up and running. I didn't have it plugged in all the way.
Oh no,
Um,
it's all good, man. Because honestly, I think co-creator just said that Tar Heel's going to be going live here at 10.
it's perfect.
So I mean, that's like what in 6 minutes. So I mean, I was
Yeah.
planning on just signing off around the same time and just jumping on his and watching his for the rest of the day. Cause I
All
gotta
right,
go.
cool. Let's rock with it for a few more minutes. And if y'all lose me, man, and I don't get a chance to say bye and thanks for all the love and support that y'all give us, man, I mean that shit. And hey, we gonna entertain the Coach Ghost, man. That shit sound cool, man. It just rolls off the tongue. So me and Coach are definitely gonna speak about, maybe doing some kind of collaboration in the meantime and figure out what makes sense, man. Because if y'all are requesting it, man, by popular demand, we gonna come say what's up, man. Coach, I just noticed you had no thumbs downs today. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I don't normally get him. I mean, Tar Heel's got his trolls. Like he's good for about 6 or 7. I never get them unless Tarheel's on my channel. Then I get one. I think it might be him just giving it to
Oh
me.
shit.
Nah. Oh, he's probably
Oh, that's
listening right
great,
now too.
man.
I
That's
just trying
good.
to say that. But hey, if you're in here and you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button. I know it helps with the channel and everything else. Um, let's see. This is Jimmy says, with what Ghost was saying, people will say this isn't fun, just being real. You can trust me because I have 10,000 shares in Clove, and I'm in for the long haul. So yeah, in that case, proof is all it is. Yeah. No, I hear you in that. I hear you in that. So let's see. Oh, there goes my first thumbs down too. Tar Heel, you listening?
Hey, Tar Heel, that's Tar Heel for sure.
So co-creator says 1 p.m. Eastern. So I'm all that's 10, right? That's like in 4 minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So if like 4 more minutes, we'll jump on Tar Heel stream and check it out.
I
Uh,
love it, man. Shout out to Scotty Z, man, with
oh
all these
yeah,
ghost emojis, man. Appreciate you, bro.
bro.
Lure it in, man.
If you haven't already, man, or I know you said you don't have Twitter, man. One day I'm gonna have Scotty come on a Friday and make a guest appearance because man, Scotty's Twitter account every Friday he goes in there and he like right around afternoon time and he's always got a new shot and he slams it. I think it's right before Tar Heels Stonk Tails is when he does it. I don't know when he does it, but
I
Scotty
like
gets
that.
me fired up every Friday.
I love it. I love it. The community is great, man. You guys got like a perfect opportunity to really be a part of everyone, man. I love it. Like looking at all the chats whenever I do finally look in there, because I'd be forgetting, seeing the people in there. You're right. You do recognize a lot of the same people, but
Yep.
it's dope, man. Like I see Mike D in here, man. Mike D's been super dope, man, throughout the whole process, man. Like always showing love, asking great questions. I like questions, guys. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but I love questions because it just need a ghost with the whistle and cap logo. Boom. L Train Trades. We're gonna have to come up with a logo for the coaching ghost, man. That's funny how it rolls. I ain't gonna lie, man. I always believe everything is as it should be. That's the energy that I've always abide by, man. So when things just kind of manifest, they manifest. You never know where it takes you, man. So it's definitely fun. I'll tell you that much. I have a lot of fun doing this. It's been a lot of fun, man. I gotta be
Yep.
honest with you guys. So.
Hell yeah. No, I'm same way. Same way. All right, co-creator says he's bouncing. So I think it's time to go jump on Tar Heel stream. So yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm about to sign off too. So hey, one Ghost, thanks for jumping on. I know it was last minute. I just hit him up like, hey man, I'm about to, I'm gonna be home doing this. If you want to jump on, come jump on with me. And I'm glad you did. It was a lot of fun. Me and you are gonna have to talk offline and figure that out because I think that'd be cool to set something up, make it like a continuous
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And then hey, everybody who's in here right now, thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it. I know the chart doesn't reflect it. It kind of feels like we're down on the day, but just remember we're up 10.5%. Okay, we're up 10.5% right now on the day.
After earnings,
Yeah.
man, look up every company. After earnings, there's always a fall off. We know the news. We know what time it is. We've seen the revenue now 1.4 to 1.5 billion guidance. That's disturbing. Nobody thought it'd be 140% year over year, man. I swear to God, I'm so amped about that right now. It's not even funny. Like for real. Hey, shout out to Tar Heel. He was the one that thumbs down it. I got confirmation because the thumb down is gone. So we'll be on his channel next saying what's up. Make sure y'all show his ass some love, man.
Hey, I
Thanks
don't
for
think I
having me.
put this up earlier either, so I wanted to do it. Cuckoo Bird, if you're still there, it came up and I started, and we were like, I think Ghost was in the middle of talking. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this in a second, and it says lunch for being Ghost. Super chat, $20. Thank you, I appreciate it. I just don't
Oh,
know if
what's
I
up,
said it,
Cuckoo?
so I forgot to go through it and put that one up there. I really
Much
appreciate
love.
that. Yeah.
Much love. Much
So
love.
yeah, I mean, thank you everybody for joining. We're gonna shit. I think it's 10 now. So, all right, Ghost. I'll check you later. I'll see everybody
Hey,
else
thank you
tomorrow
so much
morning.
for having me. Thank you so much for having me, Coach. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon, man.
All right,
Much
later.
love.